James Gunn, please don't go.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody, to the Renegade Realm Podcast, episode 113. That's the Metacritic score for Superman right now. 113.
Oh.
Really excited to talk about that for the
You want to
entire
give any
show.
warning ever before you go live? That would be great.
I said, are you ready? I didn't hear anything. I'm like, he's probably just a silent yes. You know?
That usually means someone's not ready!
Well, I mean, sometimes no means yes. If you're Sean Connery's James Bond, that is. Thank you guys so much for being here and being ready to talk about the gaming industry. Nothing controversial happened at all, so we don't even need to talk about things that didn't happen. But shout out to everyone here: Andrew Cullinane, Bino Red Hood, Barry Donnellan, Jesse James, Fark You, CC, Web Dave, RSJ Fan, Fark You, Web Dave, Jesse James, Fark You, Web Dave, RSJ Fan, Wacko Games, Fark You, the Game Adaptation Newscast, American Fury, and Fark You. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And shout out to all the channel members. I do want to shout you guys out every week because I'm trying to just do better about that, because I really do appreciate you guys so much for being channel members. Literally keeps the lights on, literally. And it's kind of scary because hearing rumors about what might happen now that Discord is public, might actually have to start paying for that. I don't know. But if that's the case, we'll have to switch over to the third person overlay. There we go. Then I guess you're essentially like allowing the podcast to be alive. So we'll see what the future holds. But shout out to channel members: Cold Eastwood, American Fury, Hargeet Chani, Barry Donnellan, Game Seeker, Highlander Grim, Lotus Esprit, Fark You, Bino Red Hood, Crippling Debt, Nerds and Other Legends, Rick L, Brian Majetic, Biff, Ronaldi, hope you're doing well, man. Joseph, Lemons, and Rayoid. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Sincerely. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be wholesome. We're just going to hold each other's hands and skip through the wheat fields. Skip through the wheat with the wheatens. It's going to be a good time. But I'm here with DeMarco, who's got his American. He's got his Adventure Time shirt on. Look at that. Look at that. Right on the left tit. Is that your left boob or is that right? That's your left boob, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right, it is.
Because usually the left cord. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, hey, man. How are you doing? How you feeling? What you been into? How's life?
Well, I will say I picked up one game on the Steam sale that's going on right now, and it was Frontiers of Pandora. It was $20, and that was sort of like the price I thought, okay, yeah, based on what I had heard about it, and based on my distaste typically for Ubisoft games, I said $20 sounds about right. And oh my God, is that a good-looking game?
Yeah, it's pretty.
And they don't need ray tracing. They don't need the nonsense that they're throwing in. The performance of the game is good. Like, really damn good. Where I'm not running into those horrendously frustrating UE stutters, like that I even get with Oblivion Remastered. And it runs well. It plays smoothly. There's some things that are some really stupid decisions in it. And you can tell that they really front-loaded the game. They knew what they had, and they front-loaded the game with, like, beautiful vistas and, like, opening moments and scenes and, like, these cinematic, like, more linear parts where you're going through. But there's a lot to really like about it that I was surprised that I really like. Things that just immerse you in the world. For example, I think when the game came out, one of the complaints I heard was that it really doesn't give you direction, like where to go and where objectives are. Like, you can't just kind of look at the map and say, okay, here's my quest marker and run off to the quest marker, which is typical for a Ubisoft game and most open world games. But the opening scene, it shows this explosion off in the distance, and then it says, go there, like, go help out over there at that explosion. And you're like, okay, sure. And you open up your map, and there's no map marker. And you're like, wait, where do I go, though? So it makes you just think, and I really appreciate that. And the
Stalker.
The game will tell you in the mission, quest log, it'll tell you, like, oh, you need to go west of this and then south of this.
So let me pause you real quick.
Okay, but I haven't discovered.
I don't want you to lose your train of thought. I just have to ask. You haven't played many Assassin's Creed, like new Assassin's Creed games, right? You haven't played Valhalla and Odyssey and Origins, right?
Not to know. I didn't care for the.
So I didn't know that that's a thing in Avatar, but that is a thing that Ubisoft has been doing for a long time with Assassin's Creed. So they have guided mode and then they have exploration mode. So you can probably toggle that, but that is something that they
Yeah, that was a setting.
That's okay. That's cool. That I didn't realize that was, and it works perfectly for an Avatar game out in the jungle and whatnot. Anyway, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, what I love about it is it makes. I didn't know they were doing it for Assassin's Creed because like I said, I haven't played any of the recent ones. But it makes when they design the game, right? Whether it's the writing or whether it is just in the quest log or even in the environments. Right? It challenges the developers to think about it in a different way, because you can't just have an exploration mode and then say, well, there's no quest markers, go figure it out. So they need to design the game in such a way where people who are playing that way can play that way, right? So in this case, they can have distinctive landmarks, and they know, okay, we have a mission here. We need to make sure that we have a distinctive landmark, but that needs to pair with the dialogue where someone says, okay, go to the uniquely formed rock arch, and that there's not a lot of rock arches, so you go, okay, that'll stand out, or whatever it might be, right? Go to the deformed tree that splits in 5 directions. That's normal for an Avatar world, but maybe not an Assassin's Creed game. So they have to put these things in, and it keeps you in the world a lot better than, say, a Skyrim, even, where they just say, "Oh, I lost my sword. I'll mark it on your map," and then you go,
Right.
"Okay." You open your map and you
Don't
go,
touch
"Alright,
my
it's
map."
over there."
Yeah.
And then you run over there, and then you do the thing over there. So I really did appreciate that about, and it is a game you can absolutely get. I'm very early. I played a couple hours in it, but it was absolutely,
Nice.
and of course it's the opening hours, so it's, you know, one of the strongest parts of the game. Whether or not I could very well see that. Well, now you start doing it for 25, 30 hours, and you start to go, all right, you know, eh. But I, generally speaking, I like the characters. Some of them are just gigantic, utter, what's comic like level, you know, they're just extreme. They're parodies of themselves.
Yeah.
But that's fine in certain cases. I love the world of Avatar 2, so that certainly helps. So when I'm going around, I see the spinning lizard things, and I see the plants,
Yeah.
and I see the little things that go, and the sound design. Sound design is phenomenal in that game, and especially playing it with the PS5 controller, because I'm a sucker for gimmicks, and the haptics and the stuff is a gimmick. But when you're going by and then you're running past a waterfall, and these are really good headphones, so you hear the waterfall gushing loud on your left ear, and then the controller is also rumbling, but only on the left side.
Okay.
It's really,
that's really cool.
It's
That's
really
cool.
kind of cool. It's really pretty neat. Yeah. So it's just really a fantastic experience as far as the way it was made and the thought that went behind a lot of these mechanics, the sound design. And so I could see myself really spending a lot of time on it. But again, have to wait and see, because I just did the tutorial missions, right? I did the generic clear this base, right, to restore the land or whatever, just generic base clearing mission. I did the opening story stuff, which of course intrigues you and dive you deeper. But I think especially, at least for now, if you are a fan of the world of Avatar, which I am, then there's something pretty cool here.
Yeah, I love that. And did you see the second movie? I haven't seen it.
Yes, yeah, I not as good as the first, but I
Way
still
of Water?
have a lot of appreciation for it. Yeah,
Is that what it's called? The World of Way of Water?
the Way of Water.
Okay.
Water.
Wow.
I mean, listen, I was playing it. I started maybe at like 6 o'clock last night, and then it was 11:30, and I went, oh, shoot, I have to wake up for work tomorrow. So it was one of those like just the way you could get lost in the world. I completely got absorbed by it.
Yeah, I have been doing that entirely too often.
I rolled credits on Borderlands 3 as well.
Oh.
So I've been playing that here and there. It was fine. For the ending, the game just sort of ends in a way that I think is even less satisfying. We've talked in the past about Wolfenstein 2 and how it's just like, oh, I did the thing, and then it's like credits. You go, oh, all right. This game does it kind of too, but in a much less satisfying way, because you hate obviously you go and you stop the villains in the game, right? But this time you kill the villain and you're like, well, I didn't really hate you because you were a good villain. I hated you because you were annoying as hell. And so it wasn't all that satisfying.
Yeah.
To finish that. And it does end pretty much the same way. They're like, you did it! You saved it! Alright, anyway.
So anyway. Oh, no, like that meme is like, oh no. Well, anyway.
Anyway, that's literally how the game ends.
Yeah.
Literally
I mean,
how
maybe it's meant to be comedic.
Oh, they have a character, I swear. They have a character that they introduce for the first time in the game that I don't want to. I know that you haven't played it, so I'm not gonna spoil anything because I feel
won't
like you
remember.
want to.
I have a terrible memory.
All right, Assassin, you're very spoiler conscious. You care about Borderlands 3 spoilers?
Not particularly, because even if I do play the first two games, I'm just gonna forget what you guys are talking about.
All right, that's fine. Well, there's a character they introduced, the first Vault Hunter. Spoilers for Borderlands 3, everybody watching. They introduced the first Vault Hunter, and then you're like finding logs. Yeah, John Travolta. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
John Travolta. Okay.
No, that's not.
Well,
That's not.
That's a new one.
so
That sounds like
good.
a Fallout character, actually.
Oh my God.
I know he's
That's
an
not his
actor,
actual name.
but
But so you meet you meet the first, you find like logs that he leaves all behind the planet. You're like, all right, they're telling us. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool lore. But then towards the end of the story, you actually meet him in person. And he dies, and I swear to God, it's not long because you met this character for maybe like 2 hours. Not in game playing time, in the game's time. Like, you've known this character for 2 hours. And he dies, and I swear to God, they spend more time mourning him and being like, oh my God, they got him! And then Lilith, one of the main characters in Borderlands, goes and sacrifices herself, and they're like, but she saved us, damn it, and nobody is sad at all. Nobody, everyone's like, she's a hero, and we love her, and just, and they're like, all right, anyway, you killed the villain. Good job, Vault Hunter. Let's go back to the ship and do some other stuff. I made this cool post-game mode. And you're like, oh, but she died.
She's dead.
Like,
right.
She's dead.
I love that.
And it was
glad you got through it, but you're still holding off.
I did
again for a sale for Borderlands 4.
Listen, yeah, no, I will say, if you're craving Borderlands 3 is a good game to play. Angry Joe, I watched his review when I was like getting near the end, and I watched his review, and he did a very good job. He's like, the story is terrible, the characters are not great, they disrespect some of them. Quite a lot, but quite a lot. And then they throw other favorites to the side for the whole game. You're like, oh, finally this character's here. Oh no, they're gone. Okay. So it was like they brought those characters in because they said no, we have to, otherwise people will be upset. So they brought them in, but they were like, well, we only have $100 left over for 5 characters that people really like, so we'll just give them each 10. Randy Pitchford can have the rest, and then we'll each get them to say 1 or 2 lines, and then we're good to go. And that's literally how. So you're like, all right, cool. But the gameplay is a lot of fun. The world is really cool. The visuals are beautiful for the art style. The there are some good quests here and there, not a lot, but there's a few. And the weapons were fun. I towards the end of the game, I had this pistol that it wasn't doing anything special, but it was very high damage. And by the time I had leveled up my character to 47 or something, I'm running around, and every kill I get, he moves a little bit faster. If my shields are at 0, my character moves faster. I had a special mod that whenever I use one of my ultimate abilities, it automatically drains my shield. So I could run into battle, trigger that, my shield, and then I start zipping around, but then I also get more gun damage based on my speed. So I'm running around with this pistol going, bah, 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 bah. So I'm like sprinting around the thing like a lunatic, and then I have my drone flying around just shooting everybody. It's a lot of fun. The gameplay itself was still a lot of fun.
I can imagine the power fantasy, especially when you're playing by yourself, because whenever you're playing with friends, everyone's doing all the crazy shit all at once. I'll never forget one of my favorite special guns that I ever got. This has to be 2 because I don't have fond memories of 3 because I played it when it first came out. I talked about this. My game got bricked, completely corrupted. I could not progress in the main story. It was completely glitched. So I believe it was Borderlands 2. I had this rifle that was amazing, and it shot out like explosive rounds. It was like do 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 do, and every time I would reload, instead of reloading, I just threw my gun at an enemy and it just exploded. So every time I reloaded, my dude just throws the gun in my hands, boom, throws it. I pull up another gun, boom boom boom, reload, throw my gun, and it was so awesome. It was like John Wick, in John Wick, John just runs out of ammo, throws his gun at somebody, picks up another gun. That's exactly what that was.
So
like.
my first John Wick movie was Ballerina, which just came out. I've never seen a John Wick movie before.
That's crazy.
My family was like, do you want to go see Ballerina? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm not doing anything. So we went out and we saw Ballerina. I will say, kudos to the people who make that movie and handle the action sequences. Whoever handled, because it's a weird analogy. Have you ever seen Kingsman?
Yes, I know exactly.
Okay,
where
so
you're going.
So Kingsman, well,
choreography.
Kingsman, I went in watching Kingsman, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get like this James Bond type thing, right? That's what
Yeah.
I thought. I thought it was gonna take itself very seriously, and that's not Kingsman. So I was thrown for a loop when they start doing like whatever, I don't know, like sword hands and crap. I was like, what?
It's so good.
So
man.
I was,
Love
but it
Kingsman.
was very creative, right? All the stuff in that was
Yeah.
creative. I didn't like the movie because it was completely just removed from what my expectation was going to be going into that film. If I watched it now, I probably would like it though. John Wick was what I thought Kingsman was going to be,
Yes.
so, or Ballerina. So when I was watching all those creative ways that they were like killing people and shooting and all that stuff, I was like, all right, this is interesting. Like, this is kind of cool. But having never seen a John Wick movie before, I was confused about, like, they made it a point to have these two groups, and I thought the point of the movie was, well, see, we're not so different after all. Like, you were raised just because this one is like raised one way and this one's raised another, and like, and I thought the whole point was that, but in my mind, I was thinking, okay, but the main character's part of this group, so they have to be the good guys, right? And they're getting in a conflict with each other, and I'm watching this going, I don't effing care who wins. They're both horrible. Like, that group is terrible. That group is terrible. Just go off and kill each other. I don't.
Yeah.
care.
They're all criminals.
And
yeah,
I
they're all
assumed,
criminal. Mm-hmm.
I assumed that you would have liked the movie was called Ballerina. They joined the Ballerina faction or whatever. I assumed that you were supposed to like
No, they're
them
awful.
because they were part of other movies.
Yeah.
So I came out and I'm like, what the, like, why did I hate every character? I didn't like any of them.
I encourage
But
you to
because they're
go
all
watch.
not good people.
You have to go watch John Wick 1, 2. You have to go watch them all in order now because you'll get a different perspective. I haven't seen Ballerina yet. I am gonna watch it because I am a huge fan of John Wick. It's like one of my favorite universes ever. It's actually one of the reasons that I love Payday, because once I found out that Payday is in the same universe as like the Continental and in the John Wick universe, I was like, this makes sense. Oh my god, this makes sense. And whenever we all played it last, I'm like, guys, listen to the music. It's John Wick. It's literally John Wick music. You guys are like, I have no idea who you are or why you're in my party right now. But yeah, you have to go watch the rest of them. I cannot wait to watch Ballerina. I heard it was good.
I will as soon as I go see Superman this Sunday.
Exactly. Superman is gonna be great, right, Assassin?
We're not talking about this.
Okay. Well, let's talk about buttered sausage, first of all.
Let's talk about buttered sausage.
Damn, that
go
was
ahead.
slow.
What have you... Yeah, sorry, that was... What have you been into, man?
Fascinating story. Any chance you're nearing the end?
Sorry, I promise I won't do it again. Go ahead.
Is it sad that I don't believe you?
Fascinating story. Any chance you're nearing the end?
I didn't do that.
Red!
That was
Let
not
him
me.
talk.
By the way, before he talks, everyone, please, if you're listening and not watching, it's totally fine. But please hit the like button. Just take your whatever appendage you wish. Hit the thumbs up button. It helps out a lot. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We're gonna get into games here in a second. First, let's just have a quick word from today's sponsor.
Are we
Assassin.
though?
I don't know. We're just sort of just effing around today. It might be a shorter show. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because we're just staying away from controversial things like Spider-Man. So, okay. Anyway, go ahead, Assassin. That's not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm like, there's no Miles Morales movie coming out, is there?
God, I know. That's the first thing that... Isn't that terrible? It's the first thing that popped in my head when I think controversy and Spider-Man. I think
Controversy. Yeah.
God,
yeah.
the world is so effed. But anyway, what you been into?
But that's what I don't understand. Like before
Yeah.
I get into that, it's so weird. It wasn't controversial in the '90s when they made Spider-Man 2099 because he was Hispanic, but all of a sudden it was terrible when Miles Morales came around. I was like, wait, so you guys are okay with the Hispanic Spider-Man, but not the Black Spider-Man? What's going on here?
Yeah, don't you
What the-
love it?
What?
That's my favorite thing.
No, I don't.
I love how DeMarco
like all
leans
three
way away
characters.
from his mic.
Oh my
He's like,
god.
yeah.
Anyway, as far
yeah.
as Well, DeMarco, well, he's got a front to put up. He's Italian. He hates everybody except Italians. Anyway, so I have actually been playing a bit of the first Outer Worlds because I'm actually excited for the second one.
Oh.
So I've been playing a bit of that. I've been re-experiencing that game, and I've been bouncing between that game, Dragon's Dogma, and well,
Stalker 2.
you wish. No.
Oh.
Siege. I've been playing with my squad again, because, yeah, live service games. Once you're stuck on one, you're pretty much stuck in that one forever. I've come to accept that I need to find a delicate balance.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it sounds like you got a healthy balance with, oh, there you go. PlayStation.
Fark asked me to put this down because it was hurting his eyes, so I just wanted to know.
So right.
Look at those buttons right there. Look at that. Oh, nice circle, X's,
Man.
triangles.
This is funny.
You know, I love this podcast because we're unbiased.
We are
hate
unbiased.
and
You want to
love
hear the
all
opposite
games.
of that? So I went to the 4th of July family thing, and there is someone in the family that is very, their whole life is video games, and that's okay. That's okay. That's their thing. But they are very PlayStation only and very, very just not Xbox at all. So he's showing me the Switch too because he brought it over for the family thing, and I was like, that's cool. So I'm looking at
Nice.
this, and he's like, and look at the Pro Controller. This is the best
Did
controller.
he bring Mario Kart though?
He was showing me Cyberpunk, and I was like, it actually looks really good on the Switch. I'm like, I don't know how it looks as good.
Wow.
In certain areas, and after a while I was like, oh, the hands look weird, and like they look super like low res, like Play-Doh hands, but whatever. But then he always just craps on Xbox. It's not his thing. It's okay. But he's like, oh, I gotta show you the Pro Controller. It is like the best controller. I even love it more than PlayStation's controller. I was like, go get it. He grabs it. It is quite literally an Xbox controller. I was like, it's like an Xbox controller. He's like, no, I think it's better. I was like, bro, it is an Xbox controller. Like, I'm with the ergonomics, or with the analog placement, with the bumpers and the triggers. It's an Xbox controller.
Tell him this.
And he's
next
like,
time you see him.
Yeah.
Next time you see him, tell him this is from my PlayStation friend on my podcast. Even he says the Switch controller is basically the Xbox one, just with the buttons switched out.
Yeah, and the buttons are like fatter.
Because even I agree,
right?
like, yeah, the Switch controller, the Switch Pro controller specifically, the first one, not the Switch 2 Pro controller.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I am looking at it side by side with my Series X. It is basically the same thing, except the X, A, B, Y buttons are all switched around.
Yeah, literally.
It's basically the same.
And the buttons are like a little wider, and that's about it. And I was like, come on, man, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Xbox has the best controller, in my opinion. I think, whatever, we can get into that all day.
I will say yes. In my opinion, Xbox does have the better controller, only because I know a lot of people like hyped up like the DualSense like gimmick and stuff before the PS5 came out, but I'm like, I don't like vibration in my hands when I play, so that. And when I was playing, I think it was Cold War, when the consoles came out, and I was like, I just want to actually play the game like I always have been. I don't want to feel like the kickback and the I didn't want to feel like the grip from like shooting a gun. I didn't want to feel that over and over again, just like having to press hard every time to shoot a marksman rifle. I was like, this is not how I want to play. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Only because the DualSense has like a gimmick that doesn't suit me. The Xbox controller is definitely the better one, which is weird.
Yes.
But it's fine. I can turn off the gimmicks when I want.
Jacob Tuba says offset all day, every day. There you go. Exactly. Cody says do it. Oh yeah, hitting the like button. Please hit the like button, guys. When I say hit the like button, I'm talking to you. Don't expect someone else to do it. They're not going to do it. It's up to you to hit the like button. Please. It's free. And I'm asking. I'm begging you. But yes, and thank you all so much for being here. Oh, sorry, was that all Assassin that you've been into? Siege, Capcom, or Dragon's Dogma, and
Siege, Dragon's Dogma, and The Outer Worlds.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes.
Ooh, God. Did you see Maddie's thumbnail that he just put out? Yikes. Woof.
For what?
Mr. Maddie Plays video. Here. Let's just watch Mr. Maddie Plays together video together. No, I'm just kidding. I can't set that up, and I'll just get demonetized.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Jacob Tupas, I'm sure people who play single player games love the haptics, but it's not for me. Yeah, and I think it was weird for me. Like I tried it with Astrobot. Like I said, I went over to a family member's house and tried it, and I was like, it's cool. But I don't know. Maybe I could get used to it after some time. But so we'll see.
Now,
with the Xbox
haptics
Series
to me
Elite
is
3.
The haptics to me, even with single player games, is just not worth it. It just.
Are you eating chips?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Huh?
You're making.
Are you eating a bag of? Are you crinkling a plastic bag?
Oh, well, yeah. I just went
Okay.
shopping today.
Oh well, yeah. All right. Well. So. All right. Yeah. Oh, and I've been playing Stalker, of course. Stalker 1 still. I am like 100, almost about 100 hours into that. It's insane to me that game came out when it did, and it has so much content. Like I say it all the time. It reminds me so much. It reminds me of the first time that I played Fallout 3 specifically. I mean, oh, he's unscrewing a bottle and taking a drink. Yep. There you go. Take a drink. There you go. All right. But for the time that it came out, it has so much content. It has so many side quests and so many the AI system. It's like I'm more impressed with Stalker now that I've gone back to the first game and put another 70 hours into it than I was after I played Stalker 2 in the whole trilogy. Because like revisiting it, it's just insane. And is it janky? Yes. And it takes you a while to get used to it. But anyway, I've been playing that. Finally got to Code Veronica in Resident Evil. Woof, man. That's the oldest one because it's not an HD remaster like Resident Evil 0 and 1 that I played. It's very rough, and I'm like really struggling with it, speaking of older games. But I'm going to get through it because I want to get to Revelations 1 and 2 and eventually Winter's DLC and 8. What else have I been into? Starfield. And by the way, Starfield's player numbers, at least 1, because I was playing it last night. Yeah, I haven't really. That's pretty much it. In Mafia 3 here and there. I remember a lot of people were saying I really loved Mafia 3, but man, does it get repetitive. And I'm like, but it looks really fun. Like I kind of want that grind again, where you're just running around, just effing things up, like in Just Cause, where the whole game was just running around blowing stuff up. Man, I'm like 10, 12 hours in, and I'll tell you, it is getting very repetitive. I'm like, I didn't think that I would be feeling that way, agreeing, but I agree. I can totally see, like, I just want to get to the story. I want to see the cutscenes. I want to see the characters. I want to see how this evolves, but I'm like, come on, Lincoln. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I've been into. RSJ fans says, make that too. Yes, you and I. There are 2 people in the player count. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that Starfield player count thing. I would like to. I wish game companies would just say, this is how many in total. But I feel like, where did I hear it? I was listening to a podcast. Was it Xbox Air? I don't know who it was. Somebody recently, or maybe it was Colt's podcast last night. I don't know. Mags, I think maybe Mag was saying that, like, where companies hide their numbers to make competitors think that they're doing well when they're not, or something like that. So, I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with, I don't know what player numbers would have anything to do with success if it's not monetary. Whatever.
Well, that explains why Sony does it with their games.
Maybe. I have no idea. Sony's always like, we
I don't
sold
think these
300 million more units of PlayStation 2s this year. And you're like, where the fuck did that number come from? Good.
they can't lie, like Hoag's law.
Hoag's Law?
Hoag's Law.
Hoag's Law. He put out a tweet today where he basically said, like, people were trying to talk about how studios, this was in relation to Microsoft, that they're gonna lie about their numbers to boost them up. You can't do that. At best, you can fib, or rather, not even fib, but cherry pick your data a bit, right? If you do have a bad quarter and for whatever reason you're trying to project this stronger outlet, you can kind of dance around the numbers, but you can't lie to them. And someone might say, well, obfuscating the truth is the same as lying. Yeah, I don't disagree, depending on the circumstances, but you can't lie about it.
BT Maverick says you can't lie to your stockholders.
Say,
I love it's like because I said stalker. It's probably yeah. But are they allowed to not say what the number is?
I would assume that after a certain point you would have to tell them.
They'll probably do
is stock numbers public, I guess is my question.
Well, that's not stock numbers, but in their quarterly calls, they'll talk about, depends on what data you're talking about, but they'll pull out
stockholders.
They'll pull out their financials, their quarterly revenue, their EBITDAs, their whatever, terminology to make me sound smart you want me to throw in here, right? Their projections, of course. So they will talk hard data, but when they do something like, well, we have 3 million players, that doesn't necessarily mean that financially something's doing well, right? Because it doesn't take into account that you've had 3 million players, but you had 250,000 refunds on your product, right? It doesn't take into account that someone bought it on multiple systems, or not that they care about that, right? They're still getting the money either way.
Or
but
that someone bought it on PC storefront at like 10% off, or something like that.
Or someone got it through sales, right?
Or someone pirated it.
Which would count as a player, yeah.
It would technically, yeah.
So, or these CD gaming sites, right? Like something like CD Keys or what's the other popular one? I haven't used it in a very long time because I actually got a bad key from it. G4 Games or something like that. But there's plenty.
Or G42.
G2A.
G2A. Yeah. I knew
it started with a G.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of those platforms too, right? So
or Penguin Games.
You can say 3 million. Yeah, you can say 3 million players, and that's a lot easier to say than, oh, we have, we sold 30 million copies, whatever that
Case
number
in
they
point,
want.
the Lies of P-Dev said they had 8 million players, like, overall, but they only sold like 2.5-3 million copies.
Because Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yep, there you go.
That's what they said.
Speaking of Game Pass, yeah, and well said. And thank you for your insight, as always, DeMarco, in the marketing world, because you are wonderful. But hey, look, and guys, I will say it again. If you don't hit the motherfucking like button, I am going to shit. I'm going to shit live on this podcast. Matter of fact, if you hit the like button, I will shit live this podcast. Sorry to get vulgar. I just want you guys to understand that I am trying to stall and say random things because I'm trying to pull up this list right here. Thank you. Oh my god, I love this so much. Okay. Also, I just saw one person hit the like button. They're like, "Ooh, I want to see that." Sorry, that was gross. I apologize. 2025, we have 5 months left of the year. That's exciting, right? Can't wait for this year to be over.
6.
There are a bunch of games, especially in August. I have a couple games that I want to ask you guys if you're excited about. And if you don't care, we can just move right past them, especially in August. Oops, that's the wrong list. I just spent all that time trying to get the list up, and I had the wrong one pulled up. There we go. Okay, so here's a game. July in 1 week from today. Sunrash, what's up, man? I don't know if I've seen you here before, but thank you for being here. You can start shitting now. Yes, I will.
Just go straight to the toilet and go, so the first one is...
So the first game... Yeah, exactly. Anyway. Alright, so this first game actually, as far as new games coming, new to console players, is Ready or Not, which is actually in a bit of controversy right now because they are censoring the game.
But no, they're not. They're
censoring it, DeMarco. They removed.
No,
they changed the whole game's
they're
different. They took it all out. It's a totally different
mouth.
Woohoo!
No,
wait, we're dealing with
that was really good
now?
time. No, they're not. They actually came out today and
I thought
clearly
this was a gaming
showed.
podcast.
It is. But no, it's all it is that they have to meet a certain criteria when it comes to meet the ESRB ratings or whatever for console release specifically. So they just toned some stuff down. So initially we thought that they took out
things,
and they're not bad things. Like, I don't need to see dong and boob while I'm playing a shooter. I don't need to see that. Like, it's fine. So they put on bras and covered up wee-wees in they lied to us about what he said. The game is ruined.
What is this game about? Isn't this an extraction shooter? Or...
Yeah, it's like a hardcore. No, it's not an
extraction shooter.
It's like hardcore Siege, I guess I would say, to compare it to anything, right?
So Ready or Not, it's a hardcore like SWAT simulator where you are going into buildings and you will get killed in 2 shots, and there was a massive focus on the AI to kind of behave as realistically as possible. So for example, they will, like, you have to follow rules of engagement. It was like consulted by actual members of SWAT teams and I think military, like Navy SEALs and stuff like that. So they got actual input about tactics and strategies and sort of how to handle that. And it's super good. It's super fun. I've played it. I have it. It's a really good game. They changed a couple elements. The torture visuals were toned down a little, so there's less exaggerated wounds. They covered up some nudity. The violent animations involving children were softened, so they're shown sleeping. So they're shown sleeping instead of convulsing. It's a gritty game. It's a gritty game. Now, mind you, the type of audience that plays Ready or Not probably wants to see that stuff in the game. So it's not a surprise that folks are reacting this way, because that is the audience for the game, right? The audience for the game is not people who are like, I'm scared to see that.
Right.
But DeMarco, you gotta think of the children.
Dismemberment was toned down, so you can't... They still have it, but you can't do it when they're dead, which is weird because you can do that.
Right.
You can do that in Fallout. So I don't know why, unless that's just a 20.
I don't know. Maybe
thing.
Because if you go look at gameplay of this game, it's almost like body cam sometimes. So it looks very real, and maybe that's why. Like, people are looking at it like it's.
That might be why, yeah.
It's not gamified. You're good. It's not gamified enough to like make it not as believable as like silly arcadey violence. It's pretty realistic looking in a video game sense. So I think that's why. But anyway, that's literally all that they changed. Like, there's like a kid in a bed like convulsing. I don't necessarily need to see like the things that they removed. It's not a big effing deal. But however, that game has been on PC for about 2 years now, and it's finally coming to Xbox, PlayStation. And that will be on July 15th. And I think it's coming out for, correct me if I'm wrong, Assassin, I think it's $50. I don't know. I think it's $50. And then you get like a $70 edition. I'm really, really excited to play this.
Ready or Not, right?
Yes, Ready or Not. I believe it's July 15th. And $50, I think, is what it is. But
give me a second.
Full-on co-op game, hardcore, like... I love that kind of stuff because I love Rainbow Six. I really do, but I've always been a hardcore fan of the terrorist hunt, the PvE stuff. DeMarco's
$50
wall padding fell off. So he's
$50, July 15th, yeah.
$50. There we go. July 15th, $50. That's literally 1 week from today. Very, very excited.
That's not the only PC game coming to console, right, Red?
Yeah, what's next? Is it wait, is this next on the list or
It's not on the list, but it ties into Ready or Not. Delta Force. Is also coming to console next month.
Really? What? Are you hang on?
It's coming to Xbox and PlayStation, yeah.
Is it free to play?
I don't think so. Let me
I
go
thought
back
it was
to the
free to
fucking
play
store.
because I owned it. I own it on PC, but maybe I just own like the demo of that. Delta Force looked. I saw what was happening to Mark. I was like, something must be like falling. And I was like,
there was a massive honking spider, like big spider,
$10, Red.
climbing up my wall, and then he landed the foam pads I carried. He landed on when I was trying to get him in a big towel because he was a big spider.
Yeah.
Tried to get him in a towel to bring him out because I don't want to kill him, so I'm gonna bring him outside. Yeah. But he landed on that foam padding, and then he fell off somewhere in the hallway. So he's still chilling in the house for now. But...
Okay, so Delta Force will be free to play.
I have a roommate. No.
Delta Force will be free to play when it releases on August 19th, 2025. You can pre-order digital content. It's only $10. Certain skins and some weapon XP tokens. Palpatine says, I think the campaign is also paid, but I'm not seeing anything about a campaign. So yeah, Delta Force is it's free to play on August 19th.
There you go. So it is free to play. Okay, sorry I missed that. Yeah. So there's that. That's 15th, you said?
August 19th.
19th, I gotcha. Okay.
Wow, they're literally almost a month
that.
apart. Ready or Not on July 15th and Delta Force on August 19th. That's a month and 4 days.
Speaking of exactly 1 month from today, Mafia 4. Mafia, the old country, coming out today. Did you guys see the gameplay for this?
I did.
Yeah? Did you like it?
I thought there was another pun, but I liked it. Like, I saw that a lot of people were complaining about the animations, the grabbing the gun animation. I was like, oh, that's so 2013, but I just feel like maybe that's okay. Like, Mafia, to my knowledge, I've never played a Mafia game before, but from the discussion around it, I have always heard that Mafia is more about the story than its gameplay. And that's why a lot of people like the first two games, and that's why they were a bit mixed on the third one. So, like, I don't really care if the animations or stuff is a bit outdated, as long as the story's good. Like, I've said it before, but characters and story are much more important to me than gameplay. Like, I can tolerate outdated gameplay if it means that the story is pretty good, and that seems to be Hangar 13's specialty. So, plus it's only $50. It's not like you're going to be spending $70. And if you're still hesitant, you can just wait until it goes on sale like a month or two later and get it for like $30 or $20.
And
I'm excited for it still.
I am too, and I think I would love for them to go in a direction with this game that we're setting up like new families, like new Mafia families and new cities and stuff like that. And what I'm curious about with Mafia, the old country, I'm wondering if at some point there was a pivot with direction and scope and scale. And that's why it's been a long time since Mafia 3. When did Mafia 3 come out? 2016?
2016, 17, I think. 16 or 17.
Yeah, so, and then you look at Old Country,
like,
it's smaller, it's not open world, I don't think it's open world.
It's linear. It looks, from the previous gameplay trailer and what we saw a couple days ago, it looks a bit more like Uncharted than anything.
Okay, so it's like big areas, but like you're moving forward the whole time.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
yeah.
and I'm wondering if at some point Hangar 13's like, people didn't really respond well to the big, because they kept going bigger and bigger. Like, Mafia 1 came out so long ago, and then they did Mafia 1 remake, which is incredible. That was like a full-on remake. It was so good. But But the open world of Mafia games have usually pretty much been just sort of like a character on its own, just sort of like a backdrop. It's not like you don't like interact with the open world a lot. It's just sort of like a set piece.
Like LA Noire.
Exactly like LA Noire. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's just a set piece for you to maneuver the world, for you to have locations for missions or whatever. Not that it's totally unnecessary, but it is a different form of open world games where again it's just a canvas. Yeah, I wonder if at some point they pivoted because people didn't respond. Not that people responded negatively to 3, but again, I'm playing it right now, and it does get very repetitive, and you're like, come on, man, this is not why I play
October
Mafia
7th,
games.
2016 is when Mafia 3 came out.
I was right. Look at me go. Wee.
It's been almost a decade since the
right.
last
So I'm
Mafia.
telling you right now, they had to have had it.
They had to have had a change.
They had to have had a pivot at like 2-3 years into development and said, let's just turn this around because we're gonna F ourselves and let's have a $50 price point. Let's go smaller. Let's survive instead of just getting canned. But DeMarco, you're Italian, so easy buy.
So I love Mafia. I bought it already. They actually
Nice.
sent me 4.
And you
they
beat
sent
it.
me 4 copies of the game, and I
Yep.
beat it on each individual copy.
Fantastic.
Because I'm
They
Italian.
told him if he didn't,
Exactly.
he'd be taken care of.
He'd be a sweet
Nothing
hot
is
fishes.
mentee.
I think Mafia's biggest issue is going to be the fact that it has Mafia in the title, to be honest. Like, that'll be its best strength and biggest issue, because a lot of folks, I'm assuming, they'll look at it and go, well, I didn't play Mafia 1, 2, or 3, so I'm supposed to get into Mafia the old country now? And I'm always hesitant with that too, right? A lot of times, Borderlands 4 is coming out. They're saying, oh, it's going to be a perfect entry point for new fans of the franchise, but I think there's a lot more market. Honestly, I think it comes down to marketing dollars. I think there's a lot more marketing dollars that's going to go behind, and just name awareness alone that goes behind Borderlands than Mafia. So when someone's thinking, okay, the $50 price point is going to be one of its greatest strengths, I think that's a hugely smart move by them. Massively smart. But I do think their biggest competition is going to come from someone like myself. Like, I don't know too much about the game. I'm interested in it because I've heard story driven. It's a more linear experience. So immediately, and then
it's a prequel.
Well, that I know too, but even still, I just think the Mafia name, because it's tied to the Mafia series, I think, and this goes for any game that makes a prequel, I still think it makes it more difficult for people to enter into the franchise sometimes. Assuming, and in this case it is kind of true for Mafia, at least in my experience, I haven't seen a lot of promotion for Mafia. So
Yeah.
that makes it more complicated for me. I go, oh, a new Mafia game comes out? Well, I haven't played it because I haven't been seeing it repetitively that, no, this is a prequel. That's not been the headline.
Right.
What I'm worried
as of
about
late.
is I'm hoping that Take-Two and Hangar 13
I'm not
are not.
conveying.
I hope they're not counting on the $50 price point being like the only working factor in its marketing, because, with a lot of discussion going around the past year about $70 to $80 games, especially with Nintendo and Microsoft making the jump, I'm hoping that they're not putting all their bets on just the price to get people to come in, because you need more than that. You need more than just, hey, we're cheaper than all the other games coming out, come play with us. Like,
No, that's not
gotta
their
show it a bit
only
more.
thing. That's not their only thing. What's going? I can tell you what my expectation for Mafia is that it's going to do pretty well. I think that when we've seen it in the past where a studio is sort of allowed to go in their own creative direction, and guess what? It does well. And I'm thinking of something like Pentiment, right? I know I go to those examples a lot, but Mafia, the old country, very much seems like, hey, this is kind of the game that the studio wants to make. They want to make the experience this way because they're not chasing the monetization trends, right? They're not chasing a game mechanic or a game system or format that's open world and they can have loot boxes or battle passes, or they can charge for cosmetics, right? It's going to be, you buy the game, you're done. And I feel as though that sort of for most studios, if I'm being honest, the ideal situation to be in when you're making a game. And as a result, I think as far as the things that people might want to see from a Mafia game, which is to say decent combat, a cool world, a great story, and a well-paced game at that, you're going to find. Oh, a better example maybe than Pentiment, actually, I would say, is like a Joseph Fares game.
Joseph Fares?
Joseph Fares. Jesus Christ. Joseph Fares.
Oh my god. Joseph Fares. Oh my
Jose
god.
Fares.
Jose Fares.
Woo!
Jose Fares.
Joseph
Fares. I
We
don't.
meet the guy in person. I'm gonna say, hey, it's who my friend told me. I'd say, hello, Joseph.
Jose Fares.
Joseph.
Sorry, I was having a
I love
brain
it.
spasm.
I love it's my favorite thing. I love it. Lean into it.
Woo!
We're human. We
It's
make
like the
into
Paris
mistakes.
Hilton BS.
Harris Pilton.
that one was bad.
Yeah, that was good.
But
I love when we got Paris on. He's like, "It's Paris Hilton." I was like,
Just the look on DeMarco's face when he said that, he was like, oh my god, he actually remembers that.
he was
Screw
so
up.
confused. Like, he was like, "What? Who is what?" Because it was just his face at first, like the little whenever your camera's not on Discord. It was so good, man. God, good memories. Oh my god.
yeah, I'm so embarrassed by that.
Oh.
I go to sleep crying. I go to sleep
Yeah,
crying
yeah.
about that sometimes.
And you cry
It's
into
in
your
my,
Paris
it's in my
pillow.
dreams.
Yeah.
It's in my Paris pillow.
Yep.
Anyway, it's like a Way Out or a what's another game? What's the one that just Split Fiction, right? Those types of experiences, and that's done by a team of passionate developers. I think Mafia: The Old Country is going to be by a team of passionate developers, and you're going to see a success on the level of Space Marine 2, right? Where it's smaller in budget but successful for its budget.
Ooh.
Right. Yeah,
That would
that's a good
actually be great for
comparison.
Hangar 13. They need a win.
Yeah.
Really. They really
Yeah,
do need a win.
definitely.
That's my expectation for it.
Definitely. Yeah.
And it's not
I'm
going to
really
be a blowout.
excited
It's
about
not
it.
like I wouldn't say Space Marine 2 was a blowout. Like every single person was like on
I
the scale of
think
Baldur's
Mafia:
Gate
The Old
3
Country-
or Expedition 33.
I don't
But
think
it
it's going
was
to be in the Game
well
of the Year I don't think it's going to be in the Game of the Year discussion, but I think it will be like in the tier below that. Like, it's just barely close to qualify, kind of like South of Midnight. Great
Yeah,
game.
it's a tough year though. It's a very tough year.
It
for
is a
Game of the
very
Year.
tough year this year. It's only July and we already got pretty much 10 Game of the Year contenders already.
10.
Don't
Which
start
10?
with me, DeMarco.
Which 10? Go. Name 10. Which 10?
Let's see. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay.
Blue Prince. Expedition 33.
Okay.
Death Stranding 2.
Okay.
Why am I blanking
So
on the
anyway,
other 6? I just wrote this down.
Because there's no other 6. I'm just
I
kidding.
just wrote oh yeah, Split Fiction.
Right, yeah, I forgot Split Fiction was this year.
You could argue.
Indie-
argue
wasn't
Monster Hunter
Indie-
Worlds or
Was it?
Monster Hunter Wilds.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I said you
Was
could
it-
argue. I didn't say it would be considered.
Wasn't Indie in December, so therefore it would fall into this year's
Indie
nominations?
I mean, if Super Smash Bros. Came out in December and it would qualified for the following year, so I could see it.
Yeah, Indie, maybe Indie.
Maybe
Okay.
Indiana
we
Jones.
got a solid list. We got a
Elden
solid
Ring,
list.
Night Rain, Doom: The Dark Ages. People could argue for those two. But yeah,
Love it.
there's plenty of them to mark.
Night Rain. I don't know about Night Rain, but
I said you could argue. I didn't say it would actually be in it.
Speaking of argue, and see, looks like Superman's Metacritic right now is at an 89. There we go. Looking good.
Why are you trying to like?
All right, so
Get
the
us
next
into a
game on the
conflict
list
here?
is Dying Light: The Beast, and I don't know if you guys are Dying Light fans, but I feel like Dying Light games are they're like I don't know if a dime a dozen. They're just because of the distance between 1 and 2. The Dying Light games are incredible. Like, it's so rare that you ever get a game about zombies that has incredible music, acting, the voice acting, the story is intriguing. Like, the characters are memorable. The idea of parkour in a zombie, like, that's the first thing that you would need, right, to be able to run and escape a zombie. I love Dying Light so much.
You just love
And I
drop kicking
love-
him, don't you? Just admit it.
And I love what is it?
You just like drop kicking them. You just like running up to them, pressing the button, pressing the button to make him jump, and use his front legs to just kick him.
Yeah,
20
that
feet.
was a thing. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you could do it. You could run and jump and kick them, and then the zombie
drop
that you
kick 'em.
kicked. Yeah, the zombie that you kicked would like fly and knock over other zombies. It was so fun. It was so fun. It's like a, and it was terrifying at night. The first one was really scary. I think that they patched. I haven't played the second one in a year since I beat it. Admittedly, I was. You know how like you're loving a game so much, and then you're like, okay, I thought it would be over by now. Like, not that I want it to end, but I want to get to a point where I feel like I am moving forward. Dying Light 2 actually did that for me. So by the time that I got near the end, I was like really rushing it. Honestly, it's the same way that I was doing whenever I first played Stalker. I was like just rushing through it, wasn't repairing my weapons or armor, so I'm just getting one-shotted, and I'm like so frustrated. And I did it to myself because I'm not just take a deep breath, slow down, maybe just take a break. But I did beat the game. But I can't wait to go back and play Dying Light 2 because it's had a ton of updates. So Dying Light: The Beast is actually a sequel to Dying Light 1. Name more so Dying Light: The Following. It's a follow-up to that expansion from the first protagonist, Kyle Crane. Who voices him? Is it Roger Clark?
It's Roger Craig Smith, and
Roger Craig Smith.
Techland did say that they're treating the Beast like Dying Light 3, basically.
No, really?
It as.
I didn't know that. That's dope. Okay, that is so sick. Yeah, which makes sense because like I was expecting him to show up in 2, and he gets referenced and stuff, but like
he gets referenced
whatever.
like 3 times.
Yeah, but he never shows
I'm like,
up.
dude, where is he?
I know, because I'm waiting for this dude to just show up and be like, "Come with me," because I don't want to talk spoilers for The Following, but there's a reason that the game is called Dying Like the Beast, and I cannot wait to see how it evolves. I have been wanting a Far Cry Predator remake for so long. Bring us back Jack Carver. Give us Predator abilities. I want it so bad. But anyway, I'm really, really excited to see where they go with this. And I will admit, I just went back and rewatched the movie version of Dying Light 1. It was so well edited by, of course, GLP, Gamers Little Playground. Just to sort of get caught up with the story, and then I haven't even hardly started Dying Light: The Following, so I'm gonna actually play that with a friend and go through it so that way I can get caught up. But I know what happens. It's just that I want to like have the context. It's not the same. So anyway, DeMarco, you a fan? Have you been a fan of Dying Light for a while, or you excited for this?
I like Dying Light. I like Dying Light 1. I didn't get too far in Dying Light 2 because I just got bored of it, honestly.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I had the same thing. It was weird. I was like, come on.
I just remember. I remember this one quest, and I remember the reviews came out. They weren't massively favorable of it, if I'm not mistaken, when the game came out. And I just remember this one quest where I was like on the roof, getting shoes for somebody, like an NPC or something, and I was playing this game. I was like, what the fudge am I doing?
Right. Like the Starfield tree quest, you're like, is this really necessary in the context of the universe?
There's two quests in Starfield. That's the only things I could think of when I think of oh god.
I remember the quest.
The tree quest. I hate the tree quest. It just so.
Can we not talk about this?
No, it's fine. Let it go.
Well, I'm gonna move on quick, but it's that one, and it's this one where you have to do a quest for a doctor on Jemison, and she's on the lower level, and you have to go from that doctor, and you have to run like paperwork up to the upstairs doctor, and then you have to take his paperwork and bring it back down to the downstairs doctor, and I'm like, just get a goddamn fax machine.
Right. So just, do you not have email? Like, what is the
future?
Exactly. We have spaceships, we have laser guns, but you don't have a fucking email or a fax machine.
I have to run up and down the stair, and I'm like, this is just the worst. But anyway. So it was on that level though. I was doing quests and it was on that level. So what am I doing? And I stopped playing Dying Light 2. But that being said, it's a really unique gameplay thing that you don't really get in other places, and it definitely fills a niche I would probably play it with friends.
There is a co-op
but
mode.
yeah, and I think that's honestly the way to play Dying Light, right? It is meant for 4 players, or 2 or more at
Even
least.
2, yeah.
So
yeah.
Even 2, yeah. My friend wants me to get the game back so we can actually play together, and I think I actually just got it back a couple weeks ago. I haven't told him about it yet, because he's been really wanting to play Dying Light 2 for a while.
Yeah, listen, it's really cool. It's a really cool game. I like the nighttime concept, and I hope with the Beast they really lean into that, because that's its
so
unique
scary,
thing, right?
man.
Is that night is supposed to be scary, and they need to make sure that it stays scary. So I hope that they lean into that. But as far as the Beast goes, I think with Dying Light 2, it sort of just pulled me out of the Dying Light, and I don't want to return to it, personally.
Red is just like, all I want from Dying Light the Beast is for Kyle to say, Crane here. That's all he wants him to say.
Yeah.
Crane here.
I
That was a meme from the first game. He's just like, anytime he talks to his superiors, he's like, Crane here.
Yeah, every time. Yeah,
It's
I literally
Crane,
just watched the whole
bro.
movie of it, like, just literally night before last I finished it, and yeah, it's just he's
I was
always
like,
just
"Who
like
are you again?"
screaming and yelling at his superiors, like, Crane, get it done. And he's like, what the fuck are you people even doing? It's my Roger. It's a terrible Roger Craig Smith impression, but anyway. What are you? I mean, come on.
It's still crazy that guy voices Sonic too.
And Batman. That's the
Sonic
one
and Batman and Captain America.
Yeah, he is. People don't get enough love. Look, I love Nolan North and Troy Baker. They're legends. Come on, man. Give Roger Craig some dues. He literally just did Batman, Kevin Conroy style
Again.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's insane.
He got blessed. He got Kevin's blessing for Arkham Origins. Like, Roger wouldn't commit to the role until he got Kevin to like give him his blessing. Kevin's like, yeah, dude, just go ahead and do it.
Right. Yeah.
What is he gonna say though? Like, no,
like, no,
you
no.
can't play him.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
there are
like,
some actors who are like that.
Like Henry Cavill, whenever he said, "No, I'm not giving you advice," to the Superman actor.
Oh, Red.
We're not going to talk about Superman now. So
You keep trying to poke the bear, and I don't appreciate it.
I'm not poking anything. I'm just.
I already got all my ranting. I got all my ranting out.
I know. And I think I've made it very clear. I'm actually very excited to watch it because I want to be wrong. I want to be like. There's nothing about soup. We're not doing this.
It's going to be.
We're not talking about this.
It's going to be an average, fun time at the movie for popcorn and sodas, and that's what James Gunn. And that's what James Gunn's good at. And there's going to be comedy at inappropriate times. And it's going to ruin the emotional moments because that's what James Gunn is good at, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And that'll be the movie. And you'll either like James Gunn or you don't like James Gunn. Exactly. And that's it.
The biggest question you'll be answering.
I don't like his humor.
Is, did Taika Waititi direct this film?
No.
No. Anyway, now that we're done talking about the what's the next game, Red?
So Helldivers 2, a brand new game, just is finally coming out after a long wait. No one's ever played it, and it's coming out August 26th.
I mean, 15 million people would disagree, but yeah.
Well, 15 million people are waiting to play it all over again. 15 million Xboxes sold just for Helldivers 2.
Just enough for Helldivers.
It's funny. Did you guys see this stupid? This is why the internet was a mistake. PlayStation fanboys. I never say that because I hate this whole stupid console war stuff. But it's just PlayStation people. Some and I'm it's like 5 people probably. There's even an article published about. I saw the tweet, and then I saw some website made a whole article about this, where PlayStation fans are rallying together to get ready to team kill all Xbox players on August 26th.
This is why I say I'm glad I'm on PlayStation, but at the same time, it's shitty people like this. It's just like, come on, man.
It's so dumb. But aren't they gonna get kicked? Isn't that a thing? Can you get kicked?
That is a thing. And dude, on the very same day we're getting Gears, they're getting Helldivers. I think, as much as I hate to admit it, as someone who thinks exclusives still do matter, I think that's a fair trade. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, 2 bro shooters,
like
yeah.
that on the same day.
On the same day,
two dude bro shooters coming out on each other's platforms. Because I have said this before.
Whoa.
Live service first party games should be everywhere. I want Splatoon on Xbox and PlayStation. I want Helldivers on Xbox, Switch, and I'm saying this part as a joke. I want Concord back, and I want it on Xbox and Switch. Anyway,
dude, I would honestly be fine trying that game out if they re-release Concord, put it everywhere, made it free to play. If they unleashed it from its leashes
put Redfall on
dungeons.
PS5 and Switch 2s, Phil.
I mean, dude, honestly, it's the way of the future. Exclusivity is going away very slowly. It's a whole thing. But honestly, I'm very excited for Helldivers. And shout out to Holly. She actually bought Helldivers for me on PC. She bought it for me before I even had this PC. So I couldn't even play it very well. I remember playing with you guys on my 1650 laptop, and I thought my laptop was going to die. I remember, I think that night I had to stop playing because I was afraid that my PC was going to explode because it was so hot and so loud. This little laptop, this Acer Nitro 1650 just sitting here on my coffee table, it's going to blow up, and we wouldn't have YouTube, we wouldn't have a podcast, and I was so afraid. So I just had to stop, but I know that I can play it now on my PC is what I'm saying, but I'm excited to play it again on Xbox and the comfortability of my chair or whatever. DeMarco, I'm sure you don't have much to say on Helldivers because,
I like Helldivers.
It's going to more people.
He doesn't like democracy.
No. I know you like it, but I mean, it's on Xbox. Matter of fact, let's have this conversation. It's coming to Xbox. It's a live service game from PlayStation. The most successful PlayStation exclusive for very, very long time. Do you think this conversation has been had so many times? And here, I'll start the conversation like this. Do you think that the single player, the big single player experience games that PlayStation is known for will start to come over? Namely, Spider-Man. I think is the people keep bringing up Spider-Man. Xbox era had the exact same thought that I did. The only reason that this is exactly was my train of thought. The only reason that I could ever see Spider-Man coming to any other platform is because of Disney. And the only reason that that's the only reason I think that it could. The reason I think that it still won't is because I don't think Disney is focused on the gaming industry.
Sony still owns the character though.
Right, but Disney still
Sony owns the film rights, not the actual full rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah, they own the film stuff, right? And they have the key. It's about to run out soon. It was like 10 years ago, like 8 years ago, right? So we're nearing that end, so we could see that. But anyway, what do you think about that, DeMarco? Do you think this is a sign of things to come, or do you think this is just it's a gas game, it's a live service game, and it did well? They need more money.
I think Sony's current strategy is to say live service games can eventually make their way over to Xbox. I hesitate to believe that is going to be their permanent strategy, right? What more likely will happen is that they're going to follow the dollars, and historically speaking, the dollars will say that you open your game up to a wider player base and you're gonna make more money. The math is simple. So I think that's ultimately going to be the guiding decision of it all. For now, though, and we've seen PlayStation officially say as much, right? For now, though, their policy is makes sense to bring a live service game over. We'll keep our big blockbuster exclusives on PlayStation. I don't think that'll always be the way, but for now it will be, and I think for the rest of this generation it will be too. Now we can just sit in silence and stare at chat. Well, I can. Assassin can't. He's not okay.
I mean, I can stare at chat. I'm looking at my phone. I didn't
chat.
realize that Red had left.
So yeah, I think Helldivers is a great example of a game to come to PlayStation though. So what I would be surprised, we have, what other titles do we have coming from PlayStation? There's going to be Neil Druckmann's sci-fi game, right? We don't know when that'll get released, but what else is coming from, what other exclusives? The next Spider-Man entry will make its way eventually. Those
To Steam?
well, they're inevitably coming to Steam, right? I think that much is a guarantee. I
honestly think that they're actually slowing down their PC ports just a bit. Not saying it's going to stop. It's obviously not going to. But I think that the whole strategy of releasing 2 to 3 a year, I mean, they could still make money if they just release one per year.
It'll be when they're ready.
It'll be when they're ready and when their studios have the time to help. Like, there's a reason why Demon's Souls and Gran Turismo 7 or fuck, I forgot. I don't remember what other single player game hasn't launched on Steam yet. But there's a reason why those two haven't come to Steam yet. And someone did come out and say yesterday that there are no more Xbox ports coming from Nixes at the moment. Only because at the moment. Only because they're just now, or they're still trying to find a balance between releasing their games on PlayStation and then porting to PC. Adding Xbox into the mix will kind of muddy the waters a little bit, and the execs apparently at Sony are not ready for that yet.
Honestly, though, it's probably easier to port it, and there's somebody out there who knows more about ports than I do, but I can only imagine that PC is infinitely more, and this is based on armchair developer knowledge, but PC's significantly more difficult to port to because it has thousands of different configurations that you can have for a PC setup to take into account versus console hardware. You know what you're working with, so it's easier to say, well, this is what their processor is, this is what their GPU is, so
it's what the memory, everything about
exactly. That's all set in stone.
It stays the same, whereas PC's components they change every now and again.
Yeah, now I don't know what the final, because I don't care about this stuff, to be brutally honest. I don't know what the final verdict, if there is one, on sort of the Series S versus the Series X and how that makes things easier or more difficult for developers. But that is where, if there is a big discrepancy as far as how games need to be ported, which there's going to be some, it's not as strong hardware, so there will be some, that is what I imagine would be the biggest hiccup for Sony fully embracing the concept of saying, yeah, let's start bringing our games over to Xbox, because they might decide it's not worth the effort. It's not worth the time, the money, or the effort to make sure that this is going to work on both systems. Something like Helldivers, that's a live service game. That's great for them. But something like a Spider-Man might not be worth it for them because they say, well, we got a Series S, we're just not going to bother with it. Just not going to bother. But the next generation of Xbox hardware, assuming they don't do, and of course Microsoft needs that parity, right? But assuming that the next generation console, they only stick with one, which I think would be the smarter decision for Xbox to do.
Yeah.
Then they might consider it more. Speaking of PlayStation, a little bit off tangent. But I figured we wouldn't spend too long on this. I thought it was pretty cool. I know that you guys have your opinions on it, but I thought it was pretty cool that The Last of Us had recently they released a chronological mode for the game.
Oh God, no.
So there's a free new update, and it has some patches and fixes for the game too, but now you can play through the story chronologically how it happens in the game. So that was one of my biggest complaints, is I felt like a lot of stuff wasn't deserved because it didn't build to it properly. But now, for example, the information that they teased in their newsletter, their announcement of it, was like, you can see, Ellie getting the guitar and then sort of the strain that gets put between Joel, and I assume that the museum scene is going to be, well, not I assume, the museum section is obviously going to be bumped up, so they probably will use that to break up some gameplay versus a lot of cutscene moments that happen with the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So that way it could kind of build up And then interlaced into that will be Abby's story, so you kind of see how the events of one character overlaps with the other, which I think is also a much better way to tell that story. So I'm curious. I think that for me is going to be worth playing the game through for a second time. But I thought it was cool that they did that. Again, it's a free update. I know that you guys have your takes on it, and if Holly were here, she would be like, nope.
I'm standing in for Holly and saying that it does not matter. Yeah. Even if they put it in a different order, like the story and just Abby in general, it's still not a game worth it at all.
I think it's worth it for the gameplay personally, but that's just me. Because I love scavenging.
That is just you. That is just you and a very small minority of the internet.
Well, to be fair, I think for the people that enjoyed that game, I think it's very cool. I think it's really awesome. Like if I loved The Last of Us 2, I would still. I mean, I am telling you right now, I hate The Last of Us 2 story. We've been in there so many times, but I think it's an awesome feature for that, especially for that game. Because me personally, I remember how frustrated I was. Frustrated the whole game, but I was frustrated, especially when we jumped back to Abby, and I'm like, "Fuck, are you serious, man?" And I bet you now if they're splicing in like you play this segment as Ellie, and then like the next minute, then you're playing as Abby for like half hour, an hour, and then
it'll probably swap a lot more.
Right, and I think that the cohesion would probably make for a much more cohesive story in general. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm not gonna shit on it, man. I just went through. I told you guys I went through, and my wife's like, I do not, because we went and watched The Last of Us season 2 the first part of it. She's like, I hate this so much. Like, can we just like watch the shit? Like, is there a way can you just like tell me what happens? I'll say I have a better idea. Let's just watch the video game version of it. And so we did that.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to GLP again. And she's like, I am so glad that I did not wait 2 effing years to get through this. What an absolute depressing, meaninless.
Wait, so your girlfriend didn't like it?
She was just like, no, I'm so glad I didn't waste my time. But anyway.
It always makes me feel better when someone outside of our group or
games.
Outside of our industry
yeah.
watches the same or experiences the same stuff that we either love or hate, and they either love or hate it the same way we do, and it's just like, so I'm not crazy.
Right.
My feelings are not weird and out of touch.
Right, and by the way, I had no influence
at
all.
I think it's worth saying, like, when I talk about The Last of Us, I don't like the way the story was done. I don't know, like, if you think that I find the story to be phenomenal. I think the story was actually...
I've never heard your full take on it.
Like, I have.
You didn't like the delivery, but you didn't. You didn't like the delivery, but you didn't mind, like, Joel dying and stuff like that. Is that what you mean?
I think overall the story was subpar.
Oh,
but
okay.
I did, and I think the reason for that is largely due to the delivery, which is why I'm excited for this update. But I think as a whole, like, the story still isn't that great, right? There's a lot of things that just don't make any sense. Like, Tommy's character makes no goddamn sense that whole game.
Joel's character, but in the short span that we have him, does not make any sense. Yes. Well, let's have one whole game where I'm going to teach Ellie to be cautious about other people. Hi, my name's Joel and I live here, and my brother's gay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we live at this address, and here's where we
exactly.
And this is my house. It's this house right here, and I have
paranoid for 20
here's a list of guard rotations for you. Yeah.
You've been paranoid for 20 long years. You don't get over that living on a ranch with a bunch of people for literally a quarter of that time. You do not get rid of that paranoia.
There's crappy things about the story, but I think I really love the gameplay. I think it's absolutely stellar gameplay. I love the looting. I love the third person. It's one of my favorite third person combat.
I agree with you, man. It feels great as a technical the gameplay action.
But I think
it feels amazing. Yeah, I agree.
But I really do think that the chronological update might actually help. It's not going to fix the problems with the game and the story by itself. It's not going to fix it, but I think it'll make a bigger difference than people might assume.
Yay! Another garden
Yeah.
hose on a forest fire. That's great help.
There we go. Speaking of garden,
It's better than no
hose?
garden hose.
I don't know.
Next game,
better
Red.
than the garden. Game Seeker, thank you so much, man, for the $5 Canadian. I really appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. Him and Farq both had a loss in their family. They lost. I say a family member because pets are not animals to me. They're part of your family. So whenever you lose them, it's just awful. So my heart goes out to you, Game Seeker, and Farq for your losses this week. It's awful. So I hope you guys are doing well. Game Seeker says, "What are the?" Sorry, I didn't read this before I started. What are all the photos in between the lights in your studio? It looks awesome. Oh, yeah, it's a lot. But this right here, the one that's lit up is Batman from The Batman. That's Mass Effect? That's Mass Effect? That's Mass Effect? Mass Effect?
Mass Effect.
And pretty much, and then
I
it
wanna
goes
play- I
as it
wanna
goes
play
back.
Mass Effect again, actually.
I do too, man. I'm still going through the first book.
I really do
Read
wanna
by
play Mass
David
Effect.
Kalaji, written by Drew Karpyshyn. Revelation. It's really, really good.
Yo,
I've been
wait, Red.
going
Before you
through that.
continue,
But yeah.
Before you continue, I'm on the PlayStation Store right now, and I'm looking at the What's Hot section, which is, you know, the games that are being currently bought the most, which is different from the pre-order section. Delta Force, Mafia: The Old Country, and Dying Like the Beast are
Really?
are the biggest ones on here. Yeah.
Look at that. I
was like,
chose.
well, the games we're just talking about, and
I
Ready
was
or
gonna
Not
say,
is the
yeah,
number
yeah.
one most pre-order game right now, sitting at number one. And
Ready or
3.
Not is huge.
Borderlands is at number 4.
Yeah, Ready or Not.
Ghost
I'm
of
so
Yotze
excited,
at number
man.
6. And, well, Delta Force is sitting at number 8. No, 7.
Delta Force.
Delta
And
Force is sort
Gears
of like the
at 9.
Battlefield-esque game.
Yes.
Oh, it's free? Oh, is
So,
this
like,
one
all
that
the
they
games
were...
that we're talking about are right here on the pre-order list and the What's Hot list.
Delta Force 2?
No,
Delta Force?
it's Delta
No.
Force. It's not. I know what
It
you're
is just
saying.
Delta Force.
It's just Delta
Oh,
Force.
this is the one... Isn't this the one that people were saying that there's a lot of cheaters and it installs kernel root?
Yeah,
and
yep,
yeah, that's
yep.
what it was.
And you
That
were
was
like,
the
nope.
yeah, they kernel level cheat, and I didn't want to put it on my computer
Because
because
you were the one that told me about kernel stuff. You're like, it takes forever to dig it out of your PC once it's in there and all that, and because I didn't know what that.
Yeah,
the screenshots of this game look amazing.
weird. It does look really impressive visually.
It looks
does look
so good.
Speaking of, there was I saw it was there was oh, not Delta Force. Okay, Triangle Strategy is what for some reason I thought Delta Force was for a second. Do you know what Triangle Strategy?
Isn't that the game by Square Enix?
It's
Yeah.
It's
What
a
the
game
fuck?
that
That's
started
completely
off.
It's like
different.
it's like the Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
style.
It's kind of like this is a game that it started off. Triangle Strategy was the code name, just like how Anthem was the code name for Anthem, and then they just pivoted.
And then it
like,
became
okay,
the
if this is
actual
a game.
title.
This is a game. And yeah, and then Triangle Strategy was like, okay, we just need to fucking stick with Triangle Strategy. Yeah. So
Oh
funny.
my god.
I'm actually interested in Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, I haven't even
Really?
seen it.
You're interested in a Square Enix game? That's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh god.
I've
go ahead
heard
and get off of
that
that
it I heard I just get on. I've heard that it has really stressful like the end one of the endings of the game or something is locked behind like you need a guide in order to get it, and it's like the good ending or whatever, which frustrated some people, but
I mean, Persona 4 had a similar mechanic. It frustrated a lot of people knowing that, hey, the good ending I got was not the quote-unquote best ending I could get, but
yeah,
I
and
get
you
you.
weren't finding it without. But no,
You
I'm
weren't finding it without a
Triangle
guide.
Triangle Strategy. That's why Delta 3 Triangle 3. So got it.
Yes. Hey, Biff
Triangle Strategy looks
Rinaldi.
cool.
Biff Rinaldi, thank you so much, man. A $5 super chat. Thank you sincerely. I appreciate that. He says, didn't I hear Disney bought back Spider-Man? Also, I just started the first Witcher book. Yo, yes. And yes, I'm feeling better. Yeah, Biff, had some health issues going on this week that was very jarring for him. So I'm glad that you're feeling better, man. And trust me, I have someone very close to me that deals with that very thing, and I have seen it firsthand. I understand how it sucks, man. It's so stupid. What a stupid thing, right? Human bodies just are so stupid. It's like, why does this even? Anyway, but I'm glad that you're feeling better, man. Really am. But yeah, we were talking about that. Disney has the overall say anyway. But
Disney has the Spider-Man IP in general, but Sony has the film rights to Spider-Man.
It's the same way that
the film
Disney
rights to
allowed...
Spider-Man and Hulk are not owned by Disney.
It's the same way that Disney allowed EA Star Wars for a certain amount of time. I think their contract was for 10 years, and that was...
Yes, and then it got dissolved, and that's how we got Star Wars Outlaws, and
yes,
a bunch of other Star Wars games coming out outside of EA. But yeah, back in the 90s when Marvel was going through some financial issues because the comics weren't selling very well, they sold off a lot of the film rights to their characters, like obviously X-Men and Fantastic Four went to Fox, Hulk went to Universal, Spider-Man went to Sony, and they kept a good portion of their characters to themselves. But yeah, that was the gist of it. So Spider-Man and Hulk are the only two Marvel characters that I am completely aware of that are still not owned by Disney. Everyone else is owned by Disney again. Or
and also
Marvel.
Sorry.
Good.
And as far as the first Witcher book, I don't know if you're going audiobook or just the book. Either way, that's fantastic. It might seem jarring, but if you don't know this already, those are short stories, so a lot of them seem like very jarring whenever you're jumping around. So each chapter is like a new short story. And once you get to, help me, DeMarco, once you get to the second book, Sword of Destiny.
Blood of Elves.
Blood
the
of
Last
Elves.
Wish.
Yeah, the Last Wish.
Oh,
is
well,
the
that's
first
if you're
one.
doing. Oh, if you're doing the two intro books, it's the Last Wish followed by Sword of Destiny. Those are the two prequel books. Yeah. But you don't need to do those if you don't want. You can skip straight to Blood of Elves. However, I would say of the two,
because of Yennefer, though.
The Last Wish is important because of Yennefer, and Sword of Destiny. I actually never read Sword of Destiny. I skipped that
one's
one.
important because of Ciri. So,
but that
again,
one's important because of Ciri.
Yeah.
But you don't need to, like, you really don't need to. I think what you get from Sword of Destiny is Geralt and Ciri meeting.
Yeah, that is. And after Sword of Destiny, that's whenever Blood of Elves, it becomes completely linear, and that's whenever you can just stick with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also think that's where you get like some context about like Yarpen, Zigrin, or Zoltan.
Yes.
One of them.
It's one of them telling Geralt
and
about
they reference those
staying
in the
off
books.
the fence.
Yeah.
Sorry, because Geralt's always like, I'd rather not choose at all. And then Yarpen Zigrin's like, you have to choose.
No, isn't that in Blood of Elves? They're riding on the wagon.
They're riding on the wagon. Yep.
But that's Blood of Elves. That's not.
That's not
Blood of Sword of Destiny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's
Sword of Destiny. It's when they're doing the dragon. He probably has the same conversation, honestly, but I think it's Zoltan. No, Zoltan is in Blood of Elves. Yarpen is Sword of Destiny.
Yes, Yarpen is the one that he always just bumps into randomly. Because Yarpen obviously is the one that's more like, yeah, and Zoltan is more like, Geralt. He's portrayed very well. Geralt, my friend.
Geralt.
Anyway, sorry.
Dandelion is doing something stupid again.
We'll get it. I love one of my favorite lines in the books is where Regis is trying to be polite to Dandelion by saying, like, I'm not interested in having this conversation. He's pronounced Dandelion in the books, and he keeps like pressing Regis to talk about being a vampire and what it's like to be a vampire, and he's like, well, we just the things that we just don't talk about. And Geralt's like, Dandelion, he's politely telling you to fuck off. Like, it's so good. Like, God, there's so many moments. This is why I praise CD Projekt Red for the adaptation, because the characters are literally just how they are in the game. Like, it's just one of the most faithful adaptations.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible that they were able to be that faithful to the characters while also progressing the story in such a meaningful way that stays consistent.
Yep.
Right? And that's the most important part. I think if you're like a real lore junkie, there's some small things here and there that's like, well, CD Projekt Red took a liberty with it. But that's fine. That, you know, like sometimes you need to do that. But like overall, for someone like you or me who's not looking at every micro detail about how the Trial of Grasses creates 7 boils and not 6 boils on the skin before it kills you.
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
It's amazing that they were able to maintain the level of consistency that they did throughout continuing that story.
To cherry pick so many moments from the books and integrate them as like a throwback, like whenever you meet a character in 1, 2, or 3 of the Witcher games, and they're like, remember the time when you rescued me from the whatever, like, and you're like, yes, I do. It's the most rewarding feeling I have ever felt in my life.
I will say though,
I'm not even kidding. It's incredible.
I will say though, the one thing that does frustrate me is that, and I don't know if CD Projekt Red did this or the fans did it on CD Projekt Red's behalf. It happened around when like Witcher announced there was a protagonist and people were like shouting about it. If you read the books, you know why it makes sense, and if you played the games, you know why it makes sense. But there were a lot of people at that point that were going, well, technically the games aren't canon anyway, so they can just do it. And that's right. But that doesn't give you a free pass to then suddenly be like, well, we're just doing whatever we want now because it's not canon anyway. Like, you've established the 3 games are not canon, but they are canonical. You know, like they follow the same rules.
And the fact that they just stuck to it and said, yeah, we are going to go. And by the way, for 2007, for The Witcher 1, it wasn't like it was a cliche thing even then for them to say, amnesia, that's how we're getting past this. They're still doing it today. They literally just did it with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which that's just their way of being silly, but it still works.
I love the way that Kingdom Come Deliverance did. You fell and you got a head injury, and now you can't swing the sword as good as you did before.
It's not so grandiose.
And now you forgot how to talk to people and do alchemy.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. And then you just get over it, and then you're on to the next to the rest of the game. Yeah.
I think that's the right way to do it, though. You either need to like have a good reason for it, right? Like I think the only time I've seen it done exceptionally well was actually Jedi Survivor. Because Jedi Survivor just straight up said, no, you still know all those skills and we just made more.
Oh,
and that was
trauma,
phenomenal.
right?
No.
Was it because trauma?
Well, in the first game, you get all your abilities because you're reconnecting. You were disconnected from the Force, and you're reconnecting to the Force. So you start. But between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, they said they were like, we're not doing an amnesia thing. We're not doing like you're not suddenly gonna forget how to Force push, and you have to relearn how to Force push. They just expanded on it, so now you can Force lift and Force slam and dash and do all these other things. So and that was one of the most brilliant times I've seen a game expand instead of using amnesia as a reason to have more progression for your character, and it was incredible. But otherwise, you need to either do that, or you need to do amnesia. That's fine. Or you need to do something completely silly, like I fell on my head and I can't read more.
Yeah. So good. So good. Yeah, thank you, Biff Rinaldi, for the tangent. We needed that, you know. But anyway, next, didn't Arkham City do that?
Jacob. Yeah, Jacob. Arkham City, Arkham games was another good example of that, actually. But, wait, hold on. I gotta think. I've played Arkham City so many damn times. Arkham City did it differently because they take away all your gadgets, and you gotta re-get all your gadgets.
Right. So you could still counter, you could still throw your wing stun, but you didn't have your glue gun and your grapple and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It was because I remember like in the beginning of the game of Arkham City, isn't Arkham City your suit's already effed up, and Alfred's like, sending you a new suit, sir. Is that Origins? What am I thinking?
No, that's.
Is that Arkham?
No, Arkham City. You're thrust into Arkham City as Bruce.
Yeah.
Like he's not wearing a suit, and then obviously
you're in the prison
trying to quote unquote redo the whole parkour that you learned from Asylum.
Oh, that's
just
right.
To get to your
You're
suit.
jumping without even being able to.
That's
without,
when you go save
yeah.
Catwoman from Two-Face.
Arkham
Right.
Knight,
God,
you start off the game and you have your Arkham City suit, but then you get the Arkham Knight suit, which lets you do a bunch of new mechanics.
Right,
so I would say Arkham Knight does Arkham City to Arkham Knight does a good job. I wouldn't say Arkham Asylum to Arkham City.
Yeah, because Arkham City,
But Jacob, good point though.
Your...
You are right. I would agree with you though. They did a good job with it too.
Because like in City, you still have your explosive gel, you have your Batclaw, things you have to actually get.
I'm just gonna
Asylum.
download Arkham Asylum and play through all those games again.
God, I want to play it through.
I think I'm gonna.
No, I'm not gonna do.
Fuzzy Tomato said I started Arkham Knight last night. Last night, you mean?
Like DeMarco, I don't know if you remember, but I got the platinum trophy for Asylum in 11 hours, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do City now. And now this session's like, I'm gonna go do City.
I can do Arkham games every single year. I could do a playthrough of it once a year at least. I could watch the Planet of the Apes movies once a year. I love that. I could watch the Dark Knight trilogy once a year. I could play probably the Jedi games once a year and enjoy it too. They're just
Red,
phenomenal.
you just asked me how I did it. I played Asylum on the hardest difficulty, and it just did everything like I did the first 5-6 times I beat the game.
The Joker.
I didn't even have to look up the Riddler trophy solutions. I just remembered how to do them all.
I know. I do that with Asylum too. I'm like, yep, and then you go here to get this, and then this is the like. I don't even look at the riddles. I'm just like, and this park bench is a riddle, and this one's over here.
Exactly. I remember pretty much every riddle in Asylum. I'm like, yeah.
The only ones that always get me is the ones where you have to go into detective mode and line it up, and I'm like, where the F? Like, you'll see the part of the question mark, and you're like, where the F is the dot for the question mark? Like,
yeah, the question mark when you leave the sewers.
Yes, and you're on the ruin, the ruins.
I'm in the ruined building, and I'm looking for.
Yes.
I'm like, where the fuck is this last part?
Yeah,
that's the one that always got me. I was like, how the fuck?
I think there's one in the sewers that usually, or there's the riddles where what is it? Where Joker, you can hear him. He's like, la da dee, la da do, a touch of red, a touch of blue, and he's like mixing.
In the botanical gardens.
Yeah, and he's doing that, and you're crawling through the sewers, but you could hear him. And there's a bunch of trophies, and you can't grapple in that section. That one always throws me off,
you have to use your line launcher a lot in that particular area.
To get around, to find all those riddles and trophies. Yeah. And stuff. That one always throws me for a bit of a loop, but
yeah, the ones in the ruins are always the hardest because they have so many angles and such.
Yeah, Arkham Knight though, Fuzzy. I'm not gonna spoil anything. That game is amazing. I think Arkham Knight's incredible. It's the weakest out of all of them, I do think, but at the same time, I think it's the most spectacular because that is a game where I've never seen a lot of video games do this well, where Arkham Knight is obviously the end of a quadrilogy, and that game, the whole entire time you're playing just feels like you're in the end game, and it doesn't let up. It doesn't let up the whole time. And that to me was such a cool experience because it was the capstone of the entire series, right? But
yeah,
it just doesn't slow down. And I love that about it because I don't know. I think it was so, the Batmobile sections piss me off, but
which is ironic because the first two games everyone was saying, I want the Batmobile, damn it, and then we got it in 9 and everyone is just
everyone
just kept saying it was too tedious. Yeah. I get the main complaint was that there were too many Batmobile sections and for how long some of those sections were. It's just when people said that they want the Batmobile in the first two games, we're like, we just wanted it to drive it. We didn't really want to use it for pretty much anything else. Driving through Gotham City was good.
It was a cool mechanic, but and I'm not gonna spoil anything obviously because Fuzzy's here, but it's a cool mechanic, but when it gets used as much as it does in the ways that it does, it gets tedious. It gets a bit disappointing because I think
less is
Batman's
more.
at his strongest when he is face to face with his antagonists, right? Like the cool thing about Batman is it's not versus like a Superman is that you're not shooting laser beams and like throwing buildings from across the city at one another. Like
Are you talking
Batman
about
is
that
right
one
up.
boss fight that everyone was so upset about?
Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
you're like Batman is right up. Batman is right up in their face, and he's interacting with them, and the villains are taunting him, and he's grabbing him by the neck, and he's going, "You stop it!"
Where are the judge
You know,
going?
my favorite side mission in Arkham Knight was the Two-Face bank robberies. It just felt more like Batman, just like stopping a group of thugs from robbing a bank when Gotham City is on the brink of collapse. Like, even those little side missions were like, yeah, Gotham City needs me elsewhere, but like, these are street criminals. They're here for money. They need to be stopped.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man.
That felt more like
first,
Batman to me.
I think the first Spider-Man game actually did. I mean, obviously, all the crimes in progress were very overplayed, like, and it was filler stuff.
Yeah.
But I think,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think overall, like that, I did enjoy. You're between missions. I need to go do stuff. I liked that Spider-Man 1 intentionally. I never played the second, but Spider-Man 1 intentionally said, "All right, hey, I got some free times. Like, I should go do stuff."
Yeah, Spider-Man 2
And
did the
It's the
exact
same thing. Like it's not
I like that.
necessary to
I
progress
love
the
that,
main
yeah.
story, but it is there if you want to continue to live in the world. That is the kind of side content that I
Well,
love.
no. Like the main story specifically made you stop, and it was like, well, I can't. I gotta wait for like
Arkham?
such and like I gotta wait for these lab results to process before.
Oh, really?
So I got some downtime.
I'm gonna be honest. I do not
Yeah.
remember. That was 2014. It was a long time ago, or 2016. What was it?
2015.
But
15.
10
okay,
years.
what's your
10
what's your
years.
favorite what's
And it
your
was on
favorite
free.
what's your favorite moment in the Arkham games? I have
Without going
a
too
cutscene.
spoilery, it's this. Oh God, I'm pretty sure it's City, and it's where Batman almost dies by getting poisoned by the leopard lady. What the fuck's her name?
That was Origins, and that was
Origins, and you're talking
Copperhead.
about Copperhead. Yeah, oh, sorry.
Copperhead, yes, exactly. There's something about, I don't know why, I can't even remember the whole context of that, but I remember, 'cause one of my favorite things about the old school Spider-Man games and Batman games if you stay with the original suit, your suit will continuously get beaten up depending on what actually happened. Like, you have like a bullet hole in your chest from Deadshot. It wasn't Deadshot that tried to shoot you, and that bullet hole is there forever.
It was
It's so cool, man.
Joker.
Is it Joker? Yeah, somebody
But-
shoots you.
yeah.
I thought it was
It was
Deadshot.
Joker.
I thought Deadshot shoots you in Most Wanted and Night, and that's where, and you have, and I can't remember, but I guess if it's Most Wanted, it's not part of the main story. But anyway, it's whenever Batman gets poisoned and he's like hallucinating, and he like barely gets the antidote. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so
Yeah,
cool. I
you
love
remember
that.
when she poisoned him and she says, "I killed you, and in a few minutes your body will realize it." I was like,
That's
dude,
right, yeah.
that is so cold for a villain
That
to
was,
say.
that was a cool line. Yeah, that was a cool line.
Yeah, it was,
I was like,
really cool.
even in Origins, which is for some reason by Warner Brothers, like the Black
I
Sheep.
love these games so much.
It was like, dude,
Yeah, they're so good.
even the spin-off like Origins, still amazing in its own right.
The fight
Origins
with
was
I love
good.
the
Firefly
fact
at the end. Oh
I
my
love the-
god, it's so good.
I
Yeah.
love the fact that Rocksteady like took liberties with what they built in Origins too. It's like, hey,
Well,
it's
that was
been a while
with
since you saw
Rocksteady.
Hey, yeah, I know. It was Warner Brothers Montreal that did Origins.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
Right.
Rocksteady
Okay.
didn't have to acknowledge the events of Origins and Night at all. They didn't have to include Firefly or some of the other villains I won't mention for fuzzy's sake. But yeah, like the Arkham games in its own section, in its own like niche in superhero games, they're each amazing on their own, but when they're together, it's just amazing. And as for
Yeah,
my favorite moment in the series,
That's
the
what I was
ending
gonna
of
say. Like, what's
City.
your favorite music?
the ending of City.
Okay. Yep. That's fair.
Like the creative risk they did in doing that was like, okay, this is completely different than any Batman story I know. Let's go with it. And then of course with Knight, we know how he's still in it, but it's still cool that technically he's not there. It's just that, even Bruce is uncomfortable to admit that maybe they shared a deeper bond than they thought, or than he thought. It's like, he's been a part of my life unintentionally for so long. How exactly do I let it go? without
Yeah.
consuming me. I like how
So-
that was the central theme in Night.
We have a slight little bit of time left, but I do want to talk about the big one. This is
Which
my
one?
most
There's 10 of them.
anticipated game of the year, and I literally, as we were on the show, I changed the thumbnail to, instead of saying upcoming 2025 games, I changed it to August 2025, because that's as far as we got. I don't want to mislead people. That is as far as
I
we got.
tried to move us along, Brad, but y'all wanted
The
to talk
thing
about
is,
The Witcher
man,
and stuff.
look, if the thing is, this podcast, and I want to say this to everyone in chat, this is I love tangents. I encourage tangents. I want more tangents. Do I have to sit around and do more timestamps? Sure, that's fine, but like I don't want it to ever be like, if a thought pops up into your head, you have intrusive thoughts, let it fly. That's what I love. That's what I love, and I encourage that. But unfortunately, it's because we have lives, we can't, and time, we can't have a 4-hour podcast. But if someday we decide to go, we do. And if we ever decided to do 4 p.m. instead of 6 p.m., maybe. But I don't think that'll ever happen. But so
Not
the
with
last
Marcus
game
schedule, it's not.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to respect everyone's time, but.
You guys can do it. By all means, go for it.
No, I'm fine.
No.
It takes me so long to wind down. Like after I get off the show, or like I come home from some like big event, like a wedding, or like some sort of like just some sort of like big social interaction. It takes me so long to wind down, and like turn my brain off. My brain is just so. I hate it, man. I hate it. And everyone's like, it's 6 o'clock at night. What's the problem? I'm like, because I need to go home and do nothing for 4 hours so I can sleep. What do you mean? So anyway,
You're just built different.
I am built different. And speaking of being built different, the batteries are dead. So you're gonna see my TV turned off behind me, but whatever. So the last game. Can you guess what the last game of August is? That I'm most excited about, my most anticipated game.
Does it rhyme with pedal, leer, ballad, belta?
That's pretty accurate, man. Yeah, it is. It's Schmetal here Dalid Gelta.
MBG's like most anticipated game of the year too, as well.
I love how as soon as we start talking,
As soon as we
Metal
start
Gear,
talking about it, there he is.
there he is. MBG says, "Why was the snake embarrassed at the party? It shed its skin in front of everyone." I love it. MBG. Shout out to you, man. You've been here since like I can't even, and you rarely even show up. I love it. And thank
He's
you
gonna
guys
be
so
here
much for being here and hanging out with us tonight. It's been so fun. We are going to talk about Metal Gear Solid for a little bit, and then we'll get out of here. But if you haven't yet, please hit the like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're live every single Tuesday. If you got this far, please consider leaving a comment after the show is not live anymore. That helps a lot. You don't even have to say anything. Just leave a poop emoji. It helps. I know it sounds dumb. Wait for the show to go off air. Leave a poop emoji. Everyone. I dare you. I dare you to do it. Anyway, so releasing on August, I mean it by the way, releasing August 28th, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Remake Delta, whatever you want to call it, is coming out. And I'm not kidding, guys. This game was one of the games that came out in my childhood, which is crazy to say, that it sort of changed the way that I look at video games, because I was one of those gamers like Special Nick that just skipped cutscenes, and I just didn't play games for cutscenes because my brain wasn't like, I wasn't there for characters. Like Final Fantasy, I think, Legend of Dragoon, Final Fantasy were the games where I was there for the characters, because it was all the game was. It was all this text you had to read, you had to get invested into characters. And then I played Metal Gear Solid 1 whenever I was a kid, and it scared the shit out of me, because whenever you got spotted by an enemy, it does the classic blump, and I'm like, oh! And I just could not handle it as a 10-year-old kid or whatever, however older I was. It scared the shit out of me. But then Metal Gear Solid 3, I had a neighbor, and he's like, come over and play this game with me. And watching the cutscene of you jumping out of the plane and landing and commencing mission,
Commencing
virtuous
Operation Virtuous Mission now.
Yeah, Virtuous Mission. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Virtuous. I just now realized
yeah.
the studio making this remake
It's
is Virtuous.
You're right. I know. And I was like, is that a thing, or like, I don't know if that was intentional.
Is that a callback or?
But yeah, that's whenever I actually started watching cutscenes in games. Was Metal Gear Solid 3, and I think that's why I have like this like immunity to long cutscenes in games. Everyone's like, it's a cutscenes, let me play the game. And I told you guys, one of my favorite things to do nowadays, I've been doing this for the past like 3 or 4 years. Say it again.
I love long cutscenes.
I do too.
So do I.
I do too. And what I was going
I love when there's a moment. I mean, there's a limit, right? There's a limit. But like when I can just like hold my controller and like lean back and sit and just be like, go,
dude.
Like,
it's like, let me just take in the
storytell.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that. King Styles, what's up, man? Good to see you here, buddy. Not just that, but for the past 2 to 3 years, I've actually been setting my controller down. As soon as a cutscene starts, I set my controller down. Because I realize I've said this before on the podcast, but whenever you have this, you have this built-up anticipation when you have a controller in your hand, when a cutscene is going. So while a cutscene is going, you have an anticipation because you are supposed to be in control. But just like whenever you're watching a movie, you're much more engaged with what you're watching because you don't have any control. You don't have anything in your hand. You're not going to change anything about the movie. It's just going to happen. Set your controller down. I encourage everyone, just start doing it. As soon as a cutscene starts in a game, set your controller down, set it in your lap, set it in front of you on your table or whatever you got. Trust me, it will make those cutscenes much more enjoyable, and you won't feel so like antsy about when is it gonna end. Just trust me. Anyway, so it's releasing on August 28th. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited for all there's like so many moments in my head like I cannot wait to see. All the voice acting is incredible anyway, so I'm not surprised that they didn't change anything. But I'm curious.
I'm looking at the PlayStation Store right now, and it's PS5 Pro Enhanced. What's going on?
What do you mean? What's going on?
What's your question?
Oh, I just because you love stealth games, so.
I do.
This is
like
the
obviously
first game chronologically in the series too, so you don't need any knowledge going in.
Yeah, that's exactly another reason why I'm jumping in, because I've heard for many years since I started gaming more, a bit more quote unquote hardcore, Metal Gear Solid is another great series to jump into, especially if you love stealth. If you love the stealth genre, like obviously with Hitman, with the Batman Arkham games, and Splinter Cell. And being a fan of both Hitman and Batman, I was like, you know what? I'm in need of a new stealth game. And when I saw, Metal Gear Solid 3 and the gameplay they've shown over the past year, I'm like, yes, this is the stealth game that I've been wanting for so long. And it's chronologically the first game in the franchise, so I don't need to play the other games to understand this one. So like, heck yeah, this is definitely going to be my jumping point into Metal Gear. And I'm just looking at these screenshots again, and dear lord, this is so good. And like, this is the same studio that just released Oblivion Remastered, and we saw how well that game looks. Like, you can argue about the performance, like DeMarco has said before, he's not a fan of the stuttering, which is completely valid. That's a completely valid complaint. Especially on PC, yes. But you cannot argue that with Oblivion Remastered that Virtuous is not talented. And seeing what we're seeing with Metal Gear Solid Delta, it absolutely is. It's in my top 3 most anticipated games for this year. I honestly can't wait for it. Like, it is... I cannot stop staring at some of these screenshots. Like, realistic damage? See damage reflected on Snake in real time and injuries leave lasting marks. What other game has that mechanic?
And
why would you even need that?
It did it back then, by the way. It did it back then. And to the point where whenever you wrap up... Dude, this is why I'm so fucking... And by the way, you know what I just now realized? I'm having a conniption right now. I'm having a revelation. I am obsessed with survival games. I just realized.
Because of Metal Gear.
This might
because of Metal Gear.
This might have been it. Oh my god, I literally have chills. Can't see it. I think that was
you just
the start
now realized.
That's wild, dude. Oh my god. Because you have this menu right? So in the original Metal Gear Solid 3, whenever you would get injured or shot or whatever, you pull up this like X-ray menu and it shows like your whole body, and you can have a bullet like lodged like right here in your arm, and you can see it, and you have to specifically take pliers as a tool and apply it to that wound to pull the bullet out. Now that the bullet's out, you have to take antibiotic, apply it antibiotic, then you have to wrap it in a bandage. And when you come out of the menu, you sure enough have a bandage wrapped around that specific spot. And that was back then. So I can't wait to see how they implement it and just like improve it then. But that just goes with everything. If you get a leech, if you wade through the swamp waters, you can get a leech on you. You know how you get it off? You can literally, there's multiple ways, but one of the funny ways, you can literally take a cigar and apply a cigar to that
straight onto the leech, and
you can
right
burn
off.
the leech off of you. It's dude, it's so crazy. Like this is one of the things, like
God.
because like the later on, because Metal Gear Solid, it's Metal Gear Solid 3, right? It's not like it was the first, but it is the first in the timeline. But it did so many things that were so unnecessary. It added all these different elements that you usually back then in games you just didn't have to even think about. Like if you got shot, you just drink a potion, and you're fine. But in Metal Gear Solid 3, it's like there's so many different things. Like you have to, if you ever get burnt, you have to use burn oil and then put a bandage on top of it. Like I love the survival elements are just.
And it does affect
insane.
combat, right? Like if you get shot in the arm, you're obviously not going to have the best aim, right?
It actually does. So like depending, there are certain things that like you go to like aim and you're like your aim will be like sort of like swayed. Like if you're like shot in the arm, or like if you're poisoned, like it'll like mess up your vision, where like if you're aiming down the sights, it'll do that thing where like the whole screen like does like the blinking effect, to where if Snake is trying to stay awake, it does that kind of stuff. It does do that. This is why Kojima's an absolute psychopath. Like I don't know how he got away with implementing all of these features into a game that didn't make any sense on paper but made sense whenever you play the game. I can't wait. DeMarco, do you care about Metal Gear Solid? Again, it's the first in the chronology, so it is a good entry point. I think that's why they're starting with this, because I think that they're going to continue.
Before DeMarco says anything, I just want to add...
Removes bullet from head.
Before DeMarco says anything, I just want to add the fact that they're adding two different... or I guess they were originally in the original game. Like, having an ape escape mode, or, you know, for people outside of PlayStation, like on Xbox and PC, you have the Bomberman sequence, and they teased multiplayer the last trailer. Like having that, that tells me they're actually like gonna support it a bit longer than we thought. So yeah, with that being said, DeMarco, what's your
multiplayer PvP mode? Yep.
Yes.
I'm excited. I don't think it's a day one purchase for me personally, but this is one where I've never played a Metal Gear game before, ever. And it's absolutely one that I would save on my backlog. Like I have my Steam library is organized in folders nice and cleanly, every single game that I own. And it's done in a bunch of folders that will be like gems to return to. So those are anything that I want to. Great hop in, great hop out. So something that's quick, usually a bunch of roguelikes. Some multiplayer fun, probably won't return to as I beat them and I won't, do it. Or I have them and I'm like, you know what, I'm actually not interested. I never played it. And then the backlog. Metal Gear is one that would absolutely proudly go into the backlog, and that I probably would get around to at some point, definitively. I'm excited for it.
That's great to hear, because it is one of those games, like, whenever you think about Kojima's launching point, it's not like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 were not successful. They were groundbreaking for the time, because you were having cutscenes with characters that literally were like this. They had no facial animation. They're like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing here? And there was no animation whatsoever in the face, and you were like so engaged, because you were never supposed to care. We're talking about like Mario games and Pac-Man and games where story was not at the forefront, and Metal Gear Solid made it at the forefront, very like threw it in your face. And another thing about this game is that they are allowing the original fixed camera, but they have fully integrated over-the-shoulder third-person camera. So it's not going to matter to you, DeMarco, but the original Metal Gear Solid 3 was a fixed camera for the majority of the game. Like 90% of the game it was fixed camera, over the top, and sometimes it got kind of close, and sometimes you could kind of be over the shoulder. But this is like fully integrated third person over the shoulder. And by the way, you would shoot by holding, I guess, L1 or left bumper and square or X, and that's how you shot your gun. And you would aim with the left stick. So like things have been improved since then. Like there are so many quality of life changes that people who have never played Metal Gear Solid 3, the original, would just take for granted and say, yeah, it's fine, whatever. It's like, but dude, but they changed the control scheme. It's like, well, no shit, it's 2025. But anyway, I love Andrew Cullinane. I don't know if you saw, I reacted. It was so funny. Andrew Cullinane, whenever I was talking about putting your controller down, he said, I'm blaming Red when a quick time event takes place in the middle of my cutscene and my controller is on the table. Exactly. All right, Red.
That's actually a good point, Red.
Oh shit! Go to grab your controller and knock it up.
You just put the controller down. You're just eating a slice of pizza, and all of a sudden you see the square or the X button pop up. You're like, oh motherfucker!
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Andrew Cullinane. Let's see. Oh, sorry, not Andrew Cullinane. BT Mavericks. This is where Red was first co-gemmed. It was. I said, same to Marco. I think I tried Metal Gear Phantom as my first ever, where you are in the hospital. Started getting chased by a burning man, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, dude. It is so funny. Metal Gear Solid 5 is the direct sequel to 3. So just so you know that it goes 3, 1, 2, 4. Yes. Sorry. Excuse me. It goes 3, 5, 1, 2, 4. That is the
3, 5, 1, 2, 4. What the fuck?
Yes, because 4 is the ending.
Why?
Because 4 is the ending. Because fucking Kojima. But in the context, I'm telling you guys, BT, if you go and play Metal Gear Solid 3 and beat it and you love it, and you finish the game, understand the story for the most part, if you start up Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll go, oh, now I get with the Burning Man. I know what's happening. I get what's happening. Even though it still doesn't make sense, you still know who they are, is what I'm saying. But
correct me if I'm wrong, Red, but isn't Metal Gear Solid 3 also notable because of its bosses? Like,
yeah,
you can actually use some of the game's mechanics against the bosses. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's one boss where if you actually wait, he dies of a heart attack?
He will die because there's a character called The End, and he is this like 120-year-old sniper that has like this insane ability to just like, he's just like the world's best sniper. Like he sees everything. You cannot hide from him. But in the old game, if you literally just wait behind a tree, save your game, you can go into your system settings, change your date to the next year, and load up that same save. He will die. You loaded the game and he's like, oh, he died. He died from old age. He literally will just be dead. And that's the kind of shit. Metal Gear Solid 2, Kojima. I think, did the same thing where Metal Gear Solid 2 had the same thing where if you plugged in a second controller during a boss fight with Psycho Mantis, it would confuse the boss because the boss would be going after the second controller. It's insane. It's just so wild. Like, Kojima has never been
Kojima is completely different in terms of game development. Like, he understands how some players will try to get around it, and he even allows that. Like, that is insane.
I mean, that's part of what made, like, Baldur's Gate 3 so special, too, right? Was that they embraced the chaos. They're like, you want to carry 40 exploding barrels in your inventory and then place them all right next to the evil villain and then blow when you get inevitable combat? Like, yeah, go for it.
Or like, I'm sure you saw that one video, DeMarco, where in Baldur's Gate 3, they took all the explosive barrels and placed it around like the dwarf camp or the orc camp or something.
Yeah, and the whole
blew it all up.
Divinity 2 had a funny mechanic where it had telekinesis, so when you go to pick up an item, it could be a little bit far away, but it would just like into your inventory. Yeah. But the trick was that you can like fill a crate with just a bunch of heavy items, and then put that heavy crate inside like a bigger crate and just keep doing that. And then the actual strongest weapon in the game was if you had your telekinesis high enough, you could lift that very heavy crate and click it and drag it through an enemy, and it would do like 10,000 damage to them or something obnoxious, and you could just one-shot almost everything in the game by just dragging a heavy box around.
That's kind of stuff that I love whenever the game developers are like, just try it. Just see what this is. Again, like Deus Ex back in the day. Deus Ex started doing that, like in Dishonored. It's why so many Deus Ex fans leaned into Dishonored so much, because they're so similar. It's like, do you want to crawl an event and drop something on someone's head? You can do that. Deus Ex back in 2001 or 2002, whenever that game came out, was doing what Dishonored did later on. Like, they just leaned into physics, and like item permanence and stuff like that. It's just, I just love that. I love whenever the developers are like, we do whatever you want.
Like, we understand how our players are gonna try and break our game, so we might as well just let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
let them do it. Let them have fun. Honestly, Red, if it wasn't for one other game coming out in August, Metal Gear would be my most anticipated for that month or for next month.
Yeah, I think it's just because like it's just nostalgia that I'm leaning on. Like, Dying Light probably would be there, but like Metal Gear Solid just takes it over for the year. For the entire year,
September, right?
It would be Silent Hill F or Outer Worlds 2. But again, it's Metal Gear Solid 3, man. It's my childhood. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait.
For me in August specifically. I'm not counting the other months, because obviously I'm excited for many of those games in September and October, like Ghost of Yotei, Silent Hill F, like you just said, Ninja Gaiden 4. But for me in August specifically, it's Lost Soul Aside, only because, and no, it's not because of PlayStation, but it's because I'm for some reason somewhere in my chest or in my body, I am just craving something fast, action, hack and slash, that is just pure chaos. And for me, Lost Soul Aside fills that vibe. At least until Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out. So that's the only reason why Lost Soul Aside takes the number one spot for me above Metal Gear. If it wasn't for Lost Soul Aside, I'd be with you. Metal Gear would be my most anticipated next month. But yeah, I just need something. I need to see something like action and just very fast. That's just what I'm craving right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and there's a lot to look forward to in gaming in general. And I just want to say again, thank you guys. I say it every week, and I'll say that I say it every week. Every week, I'll say it again. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. I see we finally reached 25 likes on the stream. We have at least 25 people watching, or 31 people watching. So if you ended up getting this far in the video, in the live stream after we're not live anymore, and you got this far, please consider leaving a like, subscribing. Helps a lot. Really, really appreciate it. Podcasts do not grow channels at all. They do not. And I've been lacking. I've been so busy with editing anyway, with work, that I have been lacking on. I was very happy with my Stalker 2 video. Very grateful for the support with that. But podcasts do not grow channels at all. So if you guys could like the video, subscribe if you're new, it'd be great.
Share it out to people you know.
Yeah, share
tell
it
Red
out.
to put it on Spotify.
Yeah, and we're not, it's not that we're not like a safe podcast at all. It's just that this week I just did not. I told these guys behind the scenes, I just did not want to get into this Xbox stuff and the controversy. I'm just so over it right now. I just want to talk about gaming. It's entertainment. Like I want to talk about what we're excited about, and that's why I just sort of pivoted and wanted to talk about specifically what we're excited about coming up. So maybe we can get into that next week as things evolve, and we can talk about that kind of stuff. I just need some time to let things marinate because I'm just every podcast, every tweet, every DM, I'm just so tired of hearing it. I know that there are things to talk about, so again, maybe we can get into that. But again, if you're new here, consider subscribing. At least leave a like, please. That would be great. And speaking of podcast and great, DeMarco, where can people find you?
Check me out, DeMarcoTude, on YouTube and Twitter. I have my own live show, the Push Start Podcast, that goes live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're looking for a double dose of some of the takes that I have here, but I try to cover different topics each week, so you'll get some new things to talk about over there.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, please go check out DeMarco. His link.
I've really been wanting to play GTA Online too, weirdly enough.
Hit me up, brother. Hit me up. I got it installed. It's so weird. I have too. I actually reinstalled it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun just running around being bad. Let me know.
Yeah, I've had a hankering for GTA Online. I think I have it on the Epic Game Store. I think I got it for free. Yeah, there it is. GTA 5 Enhanced.
Just free. Isn't it just free just to play
on
online?
Epic Game?
No.
Oh, now it might be for GTA Online. Yeah, but I think I got the whole game through
like
Epic Game
is
Store.
GTA Online like sold separately than GTA 5?
I think they might have. I mean, they make so much
Yes.
money with the shark cards. They might have done that actually.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
GTA Online is free.
Because if that's the case, and I'll definitely download it right now, and we can actually play it.
I wanted to just dick around and do some heists and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to do a heist or just
Anyway,
some
yeah,
random stuff,
check out
but-
the channel.
No,
yeah,
GTA Online is not sold separately. I do have GTA 5 though.
Yeah, I thought it was
I can
free.
always just-
Whatever. I thought it was free.
No,
to play,
no,
but-
I think you're thinking of Red Dead. I think you're thinking of Red Dead Online.
Okay, maybe.
Speaking
I
of
don't
which, I'm still waiting on.
Yeah,
Mario
all right.
2.
Anyway, Assassin,
Answer.
where can people find you?
know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter at Assassin52. Like I've said before in the past, I do not make content like these two or Arcane. Speaking of Arcane, never mind. I'll just tell you guys after the show. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Assassin52. The link is in the description down below. I don't really do much. I just make some pretty fair comments about, gaming and stuff. So if you're interested in that, just hit the link in the description and give me a follow.
Yeah, please.
I was considering maybe doing a stream last night because of things, but yeah, I think I'll hold off till October because I did tell DeMarco I am gonna redo my October horror game stream in October. Alien Isolation is up first, so yeah. Look forward to that at least.
Yeah,
Because
there's a
DeMarco
lot to
wouldn't
look
stop
forward
talking
to.
about it.
I love Alien Isolation. It's one of my favorite modern horror games.
It was very, very good. I think the reason that I love Outlast is same reason that I love Alien. It was like this helpless feeling. But in
Amnesia,
Alien, you
best
can
horror
actually do
games: Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Alien, Outlast.
That's 4 games.
In
but
that order.
I know what you mean.
I know Red has said it
Amnesia,
before.
Alien, Outlast. That's
Like
three.
for
What are you talking
for
Oh,
me,
sorry,
I
maybe
don't
it
know
was
what
a
it is
thumbs up
about
that
horror
threw me off.
games.
Sorry.
I don't know what it is about horror games, but I just prefer them in third. So I know Amnesia and Alien Isolation. I know those games are amazing. It's Outlast 2. But when it comes to horror games, I just prefer third person. But with how good Alien Isolation, I've been told how good it is, I'll just play through it and actually give it a try.
Thank you, Jacob Tupwa. Phasmophobia. Thank you.
Does
Don't
Phasmophobia
hate
have
it
a
until
physical
you...
edition?
Listen, you sons of bitches. I want to play the game so bad. I literally can't play. I want to play it so bad, and I can't play it because you guys. I will buy it for you.
Rev was
we
like,
could
"Can we
stream
play
it."
Phasmophobia together?" I'm like, "Does it have a physical?" You motherfucker! No, it doesn't. Like, well, then I'm not getting it. Then I'm not getting it.
Okay, well. Anyway,
Woohoo!
all right. So, anyway, that's it. Please go check out DeMarco's show. His podcast is in 2 days, Thursdays, every Thursday live. Go subscribe to him to check him out. He gets on occasional guests, other than me, and it's always a great time. Save them, download them, like them, share them out to your grandmother, your father, your daughter, your son, your dog, your cat, your squirrel. Whatever.
If you become a member on DeMarco Dude's channel, he will also send you some pictures of
his feet,
authentic Italian dishes, like his famous
Oh.
stromboli.
that too. That too. Yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You can find me on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitter. And cool. Woo. Woohoo. Yeah. All right, guys. Fantastic. And
I should go.
all right. Goodbye, everyone.
Oh wait, hang on. I don't know. Go ahead. I don't know why I can't figure it out.